Spav. Who's OC in DC right now?
And 1 minute to broadcast. Yeah, left is your program broadcast, and right is your headset.
The Broken Arrow Tigers take the field for the start of the 2021 football season with Jerry World peeking over the horizon to our north here in DFW. I'm Adam Hildebrandt alongside Steve Spavital. We are excited to be bringing you another season of Broken Arrow High School football, and it was a little bit longer drive than most of our trips last year, Spav, to start this one off, but we're ready for some football here.
Absolutely. I tell you what, it's just a great time of the year to start the high school football and college football and then get into pros. Just love this season. It's just unbelievable.
There will be some slight differences tonight because we are playing football in the state of Texas. We'll go over those with you here in just a little while as we get underway, but the Tigers have taken the field, so have the Broncos. Broken Arrow coming off of a season in which it went 7-4. Meanwhile, Legacy 2-7 a year ago. Both of these teams with brand new coaching staffs, so there will be a lot to learn about both of these teams as we go through the game.
And that's huge. That's huge. If you think about it, I mean, this team, with you have brand new coaching staffs, what basically happens is, you know, you just can't do anything right. You just can't. You don't have your entire package in. You know, that's usually for your first 3 games. It's difficult to have a plan B when you only have a portion of your game plan in. And it's tough, but it's extremely tough on your defensive squad because, you know, there's new staff. There's going to be all different types of different adjustments you're going to have to do. They're going to see formations we haven't seen. You're going to see the snap counts. I mean, you haven't even heard their snap count. You're not even sure how they're going to do it. Personnel is going to be really difficult. You know, how are they running their personnel groups in? And then just how you fit it. Offenses, we've got to be simple. We can't overdo it. That's the thing that most people do, is they try to do too much this early. And what you need to do is just focus on first downs if you're an offensive team. Don't worry about plays. Don't worry so much about personnel. You got to get first downs.
We got the national anthem coming your way. Let's take a listen in here in Mansfield, Texas. National anthem played by the Mansfield Legacy Band as we get ready for some football on a very, very warm Friday evening here in Mansfield, Texas. For those of you who are listening on the audio-only stream and not tuned into the video, we'll set the scene for you a little bit here. We've got a north-south facing field, a shadow casting across most of the south half of the field. But a good-sized stadium here for the Mansfield Independent School District. Video board off to our right. A wind out of the southeast right now, so blowing across us from right to left. Hills splayed out across the horizon across from us, and a little storm cloud starting to build way out to our east. And then if you take the football and you run straight north through the end zone, you keep running long enough, you'll end up in Dak Prescott's locker up there.
Absolutely.
At the home of the Dallas Cowboys.
I like that.
It's not that far. We can see it from here. So it is a beautiful scene for some football. The coin toss took place a little while ago, and it will be the Tigers kicking off to start the season, Spav. So we talked a little bit about that defense a moment ago, and we'll get into them. But this is a team that over the last few years has really been solid on special teams at the Broken Arrow Tigers. But there's some new faces on this special team squad this year.
Especially the kicker, and that's what was huge. He was the greatest weapon we had last year, I think one of them. And just not having him is going to be huge. So if we don't have a kicker that can kick it in the end zone, then we're looking at strategies now, which is, to try to create turnovers. We don't know anything about them. We haven't seen any special teams. All we've seen is a scrimmage, so this is new to us. We got to keep our lanes. We got to make sure. We don't know how the return men are. Are they good? Are they bad? How much speed? Who's their favorite one? Who to kick away from? We don't know these things. So
the ball's on the tee. The kick is away. It's a high end-over-end kick, caught at the 8-yard line, and a fair catch was called by Avion Williams, the senior running back, who took several steps like he was going to take it back.
I know.
So,
and that's something new, basically being able to fair catch it.
Absolutely, and this is, we mentioned this a little while ago, the rules will be a little different tonight because we are in the state of Texas.
Mm-hmm.
The rule book looks much more similar to the NCAA rule book as opposed to the Oklahoma high school rule book. So things like being able to be offsides but get back onside before the snap. Kicks can be blocked and returned. Field goals can be blocked and returned in this league. So there's some different rules tonight.
Okay, they have the tight end off now, and they're 11 personnel, so they're basically running the lead play in there.
Connor Parlin hands it off. It's Curtis Taylor on the carry. He's wrapped up and brought down essentially for no gain. A good start up front for the Tiger defense.
Absolutely. You could see the fullback, which is the tight end off the line, being a fullback, leading up in the hole. He's got to move his feet. He's got to get out of the way.
It's Connor Parlin calling the shots for this Bronco offense. The quarterback standing in the shotgun with two receivers to his right, one left. He'll hand it off again. This time, Taylor slips, is wrapped up in the backfield and pushed backwards. A couple of guys there. Briley Ferguson as well as Dietrich Moore, both there on the stop. And now it's going to be third and very long, about 13.
And this is to our advantage because we're a blitzing team. Their quarterback's new. Their throwing game is kind of suspect, so this is going to be kind of difficult for them right now. They were running a stretch read. We read it very well. They didn't, and it was just a great stop for us. Now you got them third and long.
And ball's marked at the 23, right between the hashes, 3rd and 12, as Legacy moves left to right in the home red jerseys, black pants, black helmets. The Tigers in the white jerseys, white pants, and black helmets today. 3rd down and long. Here's the snap. Parlin wants to throw for the first time in his Bronco career. He dumps it over the middle. It's caught at the 34-yard line, but the receiver is pushed backwards, and he'll be a yard short. Yes. 4th down and 1 coming up. On the reception that time was Isaiah Williams. He's going to be a big-time target for them, but he couldn't quite get the first down there.
Well, they were trying to throw it. They were sneaking the back out to the same side as the tight end, and they threw it back away from it, which is what a lot of people do. You want to adjust to the flow.
4th down and 1. The offense is on the field here. Legacy taking a chance early. The handoff straight up the middle. He's bottled up, but able to push his way forward for about 3 yards out to the 37-yard line. And the risk pays off on the tackle that time for the Tigers was Julius McVeigh.
But, we hit it at the line of scrimmage, and, the momentum just carried him for that extra yard.
Just enough to keep the ball in the hands of the Broncos. Broken Arrow 2-0 against Legacy, including a 28-6 victory against the Broncos at home as part of that 2018 state championship season. Trying to get to 3-0 here tonight.
Now, what we're doing defensively, we're a 4-man front, so it's something that we're pretty much familiar with.
Watch the coverage on the tight end there on the left side. Kieran Heath is open at the moment. Instead, they hand it off up the middle. That's the backup running back, Avion Williams, with room up the middle, and he is spun down after a gain of about 11 yards out to the 48-yard line. Finally, the running game able to find a little bit of room for the Broncos.
Well, they did a good job on that. Just run the basic zone read. They spread the formation. They spread us out. But what's really tough of what we got to do is their splits are tight. Their offensive line splits are extremely tight, so it's going to be kind of unusual. You can see that we're running more 2 techniques than 3s.
Legacy approaching midfield. They hand it off again over the right side this time goes Williams, and he's upended.
Great spill.
Brought down right at the 50-yard line. More on the tackle there for the Tigers. A gain of about 2 brings up 2nd down and 8.
That was a great fit there because our end, he spilled it. He spilled the play to that perimeter, which is what you need. Always spill it and make them run to the sidelines, and you can just go bam, bam, bam with your personnel.
Dietrich Moore is a guy that really played well towards the end of the year last year and had a strong close to the season. He seems to be picking up right where he left off last year. This time Parlin wants to throw on second down. He launches it over the middle. It's a little high, and it's broken up at the 26-yard line of the Tigers. An incomplete pass going up to help defend the ball that time was Javion Franklin, and that brings up 3rd down and 8 now for Legacy.
And see, that's what I don't understand usually. The first games of the year, why are you going for home run balls? I mean, the point to me is get first downs. I mean, everything should be utilized for that because you don't have everything in it. You're trying to overthink this game.
And now you've put quarterback Connor Parlin in his first start here for Mansfield Legacy in a tough spot again. 3rd down and 8. He was able to complete a long one last time. Can he find another one? Going to swing it to the left side. It's a screen pass out to the left, and now moved room to work across the 45-yard line, but brought down at the 44 of the Tigers. On the catch that time was Isaiah Williams, and he was able to get some yards but couldn't quite get free. Are they going to keep the offense on the field again, Spav?
Looks like it. They were running a quads formation. They had three wide receivers to one side, 3 to the other, but the back was shaded towards the 3 receiver side, and he released as a blocker. So they had 3 blockers on 3, and we still did an outstanding job making it 4th and 2.
Shane Wyatt helped make the play for Broken Arrow. 4th down and a long 2. The Broncos need the Tiger 42. It's a quarterback sweep this time to the right side. Parlin hit and knocked down at the 44-yard line.
Our ball.
Dietrich Moore comes through to make the stop, and the Tigers force a turnover on downs. Broken Arrow will have the football for the first time this season.
God, that was great. You know, here's the thing is you got a linebacker just coming that clean. You can't come that clean and make a play. I mean, it just tells you the speed of their old line is not what it should be.
Well, and one thing that we talked about a little bit before the game was Kyron Heath, the tight end for Legacy, sometimes can get a little lost in those blocking schemes, and on that stretch play there, essentially the moving to the right, nobody found Dietrich Moore. You want to find Dietrich Moore, generally speaking.
Find the first opposite color.
Here's a handoff to R.J. Spears-Jennings, the Oklahoma commit. Brought down for a gain of maybe a half yard out near the 45-yard line. Not a lot of room to work there as they tried the jet sweep to the near side, the short side of the field. Brings up 2nd down and 9.
See, I like that concept, running into the short side. You know, they're a 4-man front as well, but they play their safeties down very tight. And when they do that, they're going to be able to play 0-man. They can roll their coverage to cover 3.
Twins to either side for Griffin Steber. He hands it off straight up the middle.
Nice.
Out to the 49 for a gain of about 6 yards. That'll bring up 3rd down and 4.
And see, this is great because this is the normal play. You know, 3rd down and short. Let's go. We're putting pressure on the defense right now.
I think I saw Nathaniel Jones on the carry that time. And Jones came on. He had some carries late in games last year and had showed some strong running ability. He's in the game again here. Handoff straight up the middle to Jones again. He's undercut, but able to power his way forward down to the 45-yard line. That'll move the chains for Broken Arrow.
Well, see, here's something that's tough on their defense right now. What we're doing is the fact that we got the center on the ball and we're huddled up. And then we break it real quick, and then you have to adjust right off the bat. And that's tough to do.
Spears-Jennings split left. 2 receivers split right. Steber hands it off again to Jones. He bounces off of a tackle, still got knocked over, but able to gain 3 yards down to the 42-yard line.
Great play. I mean, running the onside pull, and really did a good job in there, cutting that thing back inside.
Joshua Wilhite, the tight end right. 2 receivers left, including Ryan Fox in the slot for Broken Arrow. And in the backfield again is Nathaniel Jones. Spears-Jennings split left. I believe that's Marion Horn split right. They hand it off to Jones up the middle, powering his way forward, dragging defenders, and he falls forward down to about the 38-yard line. A gain of another 4 yards or so will bring up 3rd down and 3. Jones is not a particularly big kid, Spav. 5'8", 180 for the junior, but he is running strong right now. He's pushing defenders around.
I know. It's that yards after contact is excellent.
Third down and 3 coming up for Broken Arrow from the Legacy 37-yard line in a scoreless ball game. 5.5 minutes left in the first quarter. They'll hand it off to Jones straight up the middle. A little bit of a delayed handoff. He was hit behind the line of scrimmage. Still able to fall forward for about a yard, and it'll bring up 4th down and 2. But this seems like 4-down territory here.
Yeah, I do not see that spot. That is not a good spot. We should be a yard up, and that's difficult. I don't know why they did that when he fell forward, but anyway, it's 4th and 2 instead of 4th and 1. But you're right, we're going to go for this.
Sterling Ramsey split right. R.J. Spears-Jennings split left. 2 tight ends. A handoff to Jones straight up the middle, sprinting across the line of scrimmage, and he's got a first down to the 30-yard line of the Broncos. A new set of downs for the Broken Arrow Tigers, trying to put the first points on the board tonight with 4:48 remaining in the first quarter.
Tough run. See, we're tempoing now.
Yep, quickly back to the line of scrimmage. 3 receivers bunched left, 2 bunched right in an empty set. Will we see the ball thrown for the first time? No, Stieber takes it himself up the middle, lowers his shoulder, and powers over a defender at the 22-yard line where he's upended. It'll bring 2nd down and 2. And Griffin Stieber yet to throw his first pass as a Broken Arrow Tiger, but the 6'4", 215-pound senior using his body there to run it.
Yeah, he doesn't have much wiggle, does he? You know, I wouldn't want my quarterback to be having that much contact.
A tight end converted to a quarterback, now standing in the shotgun with 2 receivers to either side. Stieber's going to run it again, this time looking left, chopped down at about the 15-yard line. They'll actually mark him out at about the 16. But it is enough to move the chains again. Another first down for Broken Arrow. 1st and 10 now from the Legacy 16 as the Tigers are in the red zone for the first time.
Good play. I mean, those are really hard. When you rely on your safeties to fit on the run and you got a quarterback running the ball, you don't account for that.
So far, the Tigers averaging more than 4 yards a carry as a team. 2 receivers right. Now Marion Horn in the game, moves into the backfield in the pistol. They hand it off to Horn, trying to cut right, and he's tripped up down at about the 13-yard line. Give him 3 yards on Marion Horn's carry.
But see, that's that safety coming downhill. And, you know, he makes a shoelace tackle. That's not going to happen all the time. That's an open field tackle.
We've seen Marion Horn break plenty of those in his time at Broken Arrow.
He's got wiggle.
Horn heading to the sideline. Jones checking back into the game for Broken Arrow. 2 receivers split left. Fox is in the slot. That's Spears-Jennings, that is, split out left. And all the way out the right side is Sterling Ramsey. Jones moves to the right side in the shotgun. They fake the handoff, flip it out to the far side. It's caught by Will Height, the tight end, and he'll tiptoe his way out of bounds at about the 7-yard line. Excuse me, the 8-yard line. That gives him about 2 yards to go for the first down. 3rd down and 2 coming up for Broken Arrow. We're already under the 30-minute mark of the first quarter.
I know. I tell you what, we have them so off balance right now. I really like what Coach Blankenship is doing right now. Very impressed with different personnel groups, tempos, plays, everything.
This will be the third down of the drive. Motion from left to right from Sterling Ramsey. Here's the snap, handoff, straight up the middle. Jones powering his way forward inside the 5. He's got the first down to the 4-yard line, and that will bring up 1st and goal. A very methodical drive here for the Tigers.
Absolutely. I'm telling you, it's perfect what he's doing. I mean, he's keeping things simple, but he's keeping them off balance.
The lights are on despite the sun still in full effect here at Newsom Stadium, and it's shining on the Tigers attacking the end zone to our left. A handoff straight at the middle. Jones forward towards the end zone. Did he get in? No signal yet.
Oh, he was
They marked him down just shy, just a half yard maximum. And it'll bring up 2nd down and goal. He was all but in. And that's a new running back in the game here for the Tigers as well. That is Michael Matthews, the 5'9" senior, trying to put Broken Arrow on the board for the first time this year. A stoppage is called. I think they were saying the ball was marked too close to the end zone. The nose was already on the line. 2nd down and goal. A snap. Stieber got up underneath center, and he powers his way into the end zone on the quarterback sneak. Touchdown, Broken Arrow. The Tigers go on top with 1:55 to play in the first quarter.
What a great drive. Was that not a picture-perfect drive? That was perfect.
The Tigers 2 for 3 on 3rd downs in that drive. The only 3rd down they didn't convert, they got it on 4th down. 14 plays for 56 yards.
14 plays. What a great drive.
5 minutes and 51 seconds. The PAT is on its way, and it's good. Broken Arrow leads 7-0 over Mansfield Legacy with 1:55 to play in the first quarter. We'll take a break. This is Broken Arrow Tiger football on ArrowVision.
What a great.
While you are teaching someone special the nuances of keeping the wheel steady, we can provide you means for you to maintain financial equilibrium. First National Bank of Broken Arrow. First people put people first.
Welcome back to Mansfield, Texas. The Tigers now lead at 7-0 and are ready to kick off again. The ball's in the air. A shallow kick this time, or at least more shallow, and it's caught back at the 2-yard line, coming out across the 15, wrapped up there, and not much more doing than that.
Great coverage.
Avion Williams gets it out to the 11-yard line is where they'll end up, the 16-yard line is where they'll end up marking it. But very good kick coverage there and a good kick spot.
Absolutely. You know, you put it in a corner, you narrow what they can do. You know, you say you can run to the field, okay, go ahead. But we're going to bounce it and everything. We got a lot of people running from the field.
Until you've tried to take a ball on one side of a football field and run it across the other side of the football field, you don't realize how far that is to cover. That is a long way.
Exactly.
1st and 10 for Legacy from its own 16-yard line, moving left to right in the home red jerseys. They'll hand it off. Now a counter play to the right side for Curtis
Great
Taylor.
job.
Check that. It was Williams who lost his footing and goes down maybe a gain of a yard out to the 12-yard line, the 17-yard line. On the tackle that time for the Tigers was Elisha Wilson.
You know, I love the way we work on the perimeter, run game. You know, we're going to spill everything. We spill, and that's a lot different than what they do.
Britt Mon, the new defensive coordinator for the Tigers this year. More on him in just a moment. Trips left on 2nd down and 9. Looking to throw it. Parlin over the middle. A dangerous throw to a certain extent, but he hit the mark. It's a gain of about 12 yards and a first down out to the 29-yard line of Broken Arrow. Isaiah Williams caught the pass that time, his second catch of the day. He only caught 3 balls all of last year for 10 yards and a touchdown. He's been active so far today.
Well, and he made a great catch because he was way behind him.
1st and 10, 45 seconds to play in the first quarter for Mansfield Legacy. 2 receivers right on the wide side of the field with the ball on the left hash. They hand it off up the middle. That time it's Curtis Taylor on the carry, trying to bounce it outside over the left side. He's wrapped up by a gang of Tigers and driven out of bounds at about the 36, maybe the 37-yard line. On the tackle that time for Broken Arrow was Taylor Griffin.
Well, you know, they're running an insert zone in there, and I tell you, we hit it at the line of scrimmage. We did a great job fitting, but he just broke off of it and got the yards after contact.
2nd down and 3. Will the Broncos run a play? It doesn't look like they will as the clock ticks down under 5, and both teams headed their respective sidelines. It's hot out there. Time for a swig of water. We'll flip the field and get back to some more football in just a moment. Broken Arrow leads 7-0 after the opening quarter of the 2021 season. This is Broken Arrow Tiger football
your happy
on
place
ArrowVision.
is something special and different for everyone. You probably already know where to find yours, and TTCU Federal Credit Union can help you get there. Talk with our team. We'll give you the tools to build the financial future you want. So wherever your happy place finds you, TTCU will meet you there. TTCU Federal Credit Union. Life is better in balance.
Back here in Mansfield, Texas. Adam Hildebrandt, Steve Spavital back with you. Thanks for joining us tonight here on ArrowVision. Broken Arrow leads Mansfield Legacy 7-0 through a quarter of play. And Spav, before we went to the break there, we mentioned Britt Mon. He's a new defensive coordinator for Broken Arrow. This defense is on its third DC in the last 3 years, but so far over the first quarter of play, it seems like these guys have a pretty good grasp of what Coach Mon is asking them to do.
I'm just telling you what, he does a great job defensively. I mean, the kids fit well. They're doing things right. I know this is a first ball game. I know he's just worried sick. But he's doing a great job because everything is the pressure is on defense to begin with. But I tell you what, I love the style of defense he's playing. The kids are playing hard for him right now, and that's all you can ask for.
A replacement in at right guard for the Broncos here on 2nd down and 4. A handoff over the right side, right at that right guard spot, and Dietrich Moore comes flying through to level the ball carrier. Williams loses a yard on the play. It'll be 3rd down and 4. Just before the play there, Fela Oladiende ran onto the field. He's listed as the backup right guard. They tried to run the ball behind him, and
they were running a counter.
Found the spot.
They were running a counter OF, and I mean, it's wow. I mean, they stop in the hole, and I tell you what, no one blocks the middle linebacker. It was awesome.
3rd down and 4. The Broncos need their own 39 to move the chain. Shotgun set, 2 receivers right. Parlin takes a snap, drops back, wants to throw, being chased from behind, throws it over the near side. It's caught at the 44-yard line, and out of bounds there goes the receiver. That was the tight end, Heath, that made the catch. And that will move the chains.
Great pressure by us.
Yeah, Parlin, that's a tough throw for Parlin, too, running away from the pressure and against, he's running to his left as a right-handed quarterback. That's a tough throw to make.
No doubt. And I tell you what, he got nailed, too.
Parlin back in the shotgun with 2 receivers to either side, ball on the left hash. The Broncos now moving right to left against the Tiger defense. A pass out to the right side, caught by Williams in the slot. A couple of flags come in, looks like a face mask. It was a gain of about 3. But they'll tack on 15 or so, we presume, at least from what we could see from up here.
Yeah, that's that old counter. You have the option to throw the ball off the counter. You're trying to get the linebackers to flow with the pull, and then you throw opposite. It was a great play for us. I mean, coverage-wise, we did a great job with it. Unfortunately, we have the penalty.
That'll move Mansfield Legacy into Tiger territory at the 38-yard line. They've been here before, but Broken Arrow's defense came up with a 4th down stop to get the football back.
Yeah, about this same spot.
1st and 10 this time from the Broken Arrow 38. 10:53 to play in the second quarter. Broken Arrow leading 7-0 here on ArrowVision. Trips left to the wide side of the field for Legacy on 1st down and 10. Parlin.
Oh, they've moved.
Was waiting for the snap. Movement up front.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter here.
False start. Yeah, here in Texas, you can jump off sides but still get back onside before the snap, and there won't be a flag against you unless, of course, you make contact. The right guard moved again. That's the backup guard in there right now for Mansfield Legacy, having a little bit of a tough time settling in. Francis Ilasanmi, who is the starting guard, I see him standing on the sideline. He appears healthy, but isn't in the game right now for the Broncos. 1st down and 15 now. Trips left. Ball still on the right hash. 1 receiver split out right. Here's the snap. They fake the handoff. Wanting to throw it is Parlin. He's pressured, wrapped up right at the line of scrimmage, trying to push his way forward. He's bounced backwards, though. No gain as he's brought down at the 43-yard line. Parlin tried to scramble for it and couldn't get anywhere.
They were trying to run the same plays they did before, and obviously it didn't work. We had great coverage on it. He couldn't throw the football, so we had to scramble for his yards.
It would appear Briley Ferguson had a hand in there. One guy we haven't talked about yet but has made a couple plays is Mitchell Banning, and he had such a strong year. That front line was pretty beat up last year, and Banning was there time and time again to help fill roles and fill gaps. Really had a great year last year. The ball nearly dropped off the snap. Here's a quick pass to the left side. It's caught at the Broken Arrow 35 and brought down at about the 32-yard line. On the stop that time for the Tigers was Jadaean Floyd Wright, another guy who made a name for himself last season with some injuries on the defensive end, into a starting role this year. That will bring up 3rd down and 4 here for the Broncos from the Tiger 32.
That was a good play by them, just because, we went into coverage on a long yardage. You knew you were going to throw the football, and they just ran into the boundary, shortened the boundary.
3rd and 4 from the BA 32-yard line. Legacy with a tight end left. That's Heath. A running back left as well for Parlin in the shotgun set. 2 receivers right on the wide side of the field. Got the Tigers with the hard count, it would appear.
No, they got it.
Oh, is that going to go against Legacy?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Right guard moved again.
Well, that's helpful for the Tiger defense. Turns a 3rd and 4 into a 3rd and 9.
Perfect. This leads right into us. I'm kind of curious to see what we're going to do now. I see personnel changes, so.
Last time the Tigers were down here, Broken Arrow beat Mansfield 42-13. That was in August of 2019. The Tigers, despite that being the first game of the year, Spav, had only 1 penalty for 5 yards in that game.
Yeah.
Mansfield had 8 for 55. We're seeing that trend develop here again today.
Absolutely. We're in a nickel coverage now. You can see we're dropping down.
3rd down and 9. They're going to try to make Parlin throw it. Stunt
it
up front. Throw deep down the left side. It's well covered, but a couple of flags come in. And
late.
That would appear that it's going to be either defensive holding or pass interference, although there was enough contact you maybe could make an argument that it should go against the receiver. But somebody committed an infraction on someone at the left side.
You know, he was doing good. He was, the release was inside of him, and he was riding him from an outside position, and he's trying to bend it outside, and just that natural contact.
It was a defensive holding call against the Tigers. That'll be 10 yards and a 1st down for Mansfield Legacy. 9:34 to play, 2nd quarter. Broken Arrow leads 7-0. The Tigers have only had the ball once, and we're 3 minutes into the 2nd quarter almost.
I know. I tell you, the thing is, we just got to be patient because, like I say, it's hard on defense, but making them snap the football, there's going to be a mistake somewhere.
75% of the field now covered in shadow. The Broncos are driving towards the sunlight. A quick throw to the left side, but some miscommunication. It's incomplete.
Yeah, that receiver didn't even know it was coming either.
He was out. Looked like he was trying to block.
He's trying to block. I know.
Some game 1 confusion there on the play call.
And that's exactly right. I've always said these first 3 games are just learning. This is where you find your personnel. You find what you can do, what you're best at. I mean, that's what they're all about.
Tigers have had success early in the season in recent years. They're looking for their 4th straight season opening victory. Snap on 2nd and 10, a handoff straight up the middle, stepping through a few defenders and working his way forward for a gain of about 12 yards as the ball carrier. Now he's bouncing off tacklers inside the 10-yard line, diving towards the pylon, and he is in for a touchdown. That was a new ball carrier, Max Harris, on the carry that time. Carries it over the right side. He just would not go down.
Oh, my God. That was tough. And that was just a zone play. Just ran an easy zone play. We hit him before the 1st down, and then he just kept fighting and fighting and fighting.
Harris is a starting safety for the Bronco defense. He's not listed on the offensive 2 deep.
He needs to be now.
I suspect next week he will be. That was an impressive run to pull the Broncos within a point.
I think they need a holder.
They need a holder and a tee.
Force
There's 21 seconds on the play clock.
Yeah.
Where is the hold? They're still looking over like, hey, where is this guy? And they can't find him. Oh, it's the kicker.
That's the kicker.
They need the kicker.
Oh, my God, they didn't have the kicker.
9:16 to play in the 1st quarter, in the 1st half, and a timeout has been called. And it's an important extra point at this point in time. You're trying to tie the game up.
It is in these first games, but, it doesn't surprise me either because these things happen in these games. You don't want them to. You want to have a perfect game, but it's just not going to happen this early. There's things that you can't cover very well. Defensively, you can't cover the bootlegs. The bootlegs are hard to cover early in the year. There's just a lot of things that you do that. The sprint outs, the things, how you force them. There's a lot of things you can't do. You're not good at right now, and you get better as the games go on.
Arriaga Rodolfo is the junior kicker for the Broncos, and he breaks the huddle with the team this time. They're making sure he gets out there with them. He's about ready to go. One thing, Spav, we talked early on that Connor Parlin had not thrown a varsity-level pass for Mansfield Legacy. He's 6 for 8 for 51 yards at this point. He's been pretty decent at quarterback.
He's been pretty good.
The kick is on its way. It is high and short, but it is through the uprights.
We got a flag.
And we are tied at 7 apiece, but there is a flag on the field.
He threw the flag to the sideline. I don't know what it is. Offside.
Offsides on Broken Arrow, so that'll be declined. So with 9:16 to play before halftime, we're tied at 7. The Tigers will get the ball back for only the second time in this game. Last time, it was a more than 5-minute drive that saw the Tigers march 50 yards for the score.
14 plays, yeah. That was a very extremely impressive, in my opinion, drive this early in the year. You know,
so
the tempos, just the formations, jumping in and out of formations, checking and changing the play at the line.
The question for me now, Spav, and you'd know better than me because you've been a coach before, and I have not.
You're a quarterback.
They moved the ball so well down the field consistently last time. Do you try to stretch it out a little bit and take a shot on this drive just to see what you have there?
If you feel comfortable at it, yes.
Okay.
If you do. But to me, I want to win the first down game. I want to get the first downs and practice, get the fundamentals down.
Horn and Spears-Jennings back to return. They're standing at the 5-yard line roughly for the Tigers. Although with the PAT we just saw from Rodolfo, that may be too deep. His kick is away. It's high and short, and it's caught at the 19-yard line up the near side. A gash up across the 30, bowling over a man at the 35-yard line and down at the 40. Oh, he wasn't down. He stands up and takes off. Dietrich Moore taking off for the end zone.
And he wasn't
down. We'll see ya.
Yes.
Touchdown, Tigers. Dietrich Moore runs over a man, sits on another, and goes all the way to the end zone for the score.
That was awesome. I tell you what. And he didn't touch the ground. You could see it, and the ref saw it too. And I tell you what, it was heads up by him.
Credit for
Dietrich
him.
Moore, that was heads up by him.
I tell you what, Dietrich Moore, I think he thought, I might not get the football all that much this season. I better make the most of this opportunity.
He's having a great game already,
yeah.
Defensively, and then.
Extra point on its way. A couple of flags down in the backfield. The kick went through the uprights, but we seem to be pausing to see what's going to happen here.
It's on them, I guess.
Looks like it might be on the Broncos. If that's the case, certainly that'll be declined. Illegal substitution, is that what that was? Illegal substitution, so the penalty is declined. The Tigers put 7 on the board immediately. 9 minutes to go before halftime, and Broken Arrow right back on top, 14-7. One thing that we were just talking about, Spav, you were talking about you want to win the first down battle.
we got to have the ball to do that.
The last time the Tigers were here, they won time of possession 29 minutes and 50 seconds to 18-10.
I know. And
right now they're behind in that category, but it's a complete anomaly. They've only had the ball once, and they've put the 2 touchdowns on the board.
It's just important this early just to focus on the first downs and not try to get too cute. Sometimes we do that. As coaches, we sit there, oh, man, we got to do this. That's what you would probably do in the middle of the year, but not this first game.
Well,
because half the time you're not even familiar with their coverages, how they're playing them, how they're communicating.
6A football in Oklahoma should be on notice. Those guys in the back, Horn and Spears-Jennings, they're pretty dangerous. You kick it to Dietrich Moore, though, he might just run you over on the way to the end zone.
But we used to kind of say that last year. Who do you kick it to?
Yeah. The guy standing on the sideline, maybe. The kick is away, going the other way now, and it's caught by Williams off the 9, coming across the 25 and knocked down sideways out to about the 29-yard line. Avion Williams on the return. He's carried the ball quite a bit for the Broncos today as well. 4 carries for 13 yards. It's been a balanced attack so far for the Broncos, but Broken Arrow is the team leading 14-7.
I tell you, Coach Mond's getting a lot of work on his defense, which is good. And they're doing a great job. The point is they're earning that. They earned that score.
Perhaps the biggest downside of the game so far for Broken Arrow is you haven't really gotten many reps for Griffin Stieber in the game. He's thrown 1 pass so far, and he's only directed 1 drive. Here's a handoff on 1st and 10, straight up the middle. Not a lot going on there. Bottled up immediately was the ball carrier and brought down for no gain. That was Taylor on the try that time. That's his team-leading 5th carry of the game. On the tackle that time was Trey Fetterhoff for the Tigers.
And that was a great job, too. He just squeezed the hole. They just didn't even block him. They were expecting him to cut back on it.
Boy, they gave him a yard on that. Out to the 31-yard line.
I know.
Shadows stretching across almost every part of the field now. The 10 to 20-yard line to our left is in sunlight. That's about it. Trips left on the wide side of the field. Quick pass to the left side. It's caught by Isaiah Williams trying to find a block. He's able to get out to about the 38-yard line, but the safeties come flying up for the stop.
God, that was awesome.
Jalen Franklin in on that.
Boy, he did a great job on that. Because they had a play. And this early in the year, and I keep mentioning that, it's hard to get those safeties to come downhill that fast. And he did. It's perfect.
And Jalen Franklin proved last year that he was willing to sacrifice his body. I mean, he made
true.
some flying hits and ended up having to come out of games briefly a couple times because he hit guys so hard. Not because he got hit. It was the other way around. 3rd down and 2. A handoff straight up the middle. Hit well, but out to the 40-yard line. And I think that's going to be enough to move the chains. Jadaean Floyd Wright there leading the way on the stop.
That was a great fit, really. They're running a power play with the Y off. The Y's in the back. You know, the tight end is in the backfield acting like he's a fullback, and he's kicking out, and they came underneath with the back. They did a great job. We did a good job stopping that.
You'll take giving up 2 yards on a play about every time on defense.
No doubt.
That's
Let them have the first down. Let's go.
2 receivers right, tight end right. Another handoff up the middle. This time a little more room to work as Taylor is able to matriculate his way out to about the 45-yard line. A gain of 5 brings up 2nd down and 5.
Well, the thing is, he had to cut that thing all the way back across the formation. So we did a good job at the point of attack. You know, backside guy, we didn't get it from the backside. Our backside pursuit, not coming to the ball.
2nd down and 5 now for the Broncos in red and black. The Tigers with the white jerseys, white pants, black helmets with the gold logo on the side tonight. Broncos moving right to left. Tigers looking for their 2nd stop of the game. Trying to throw it deep down the left side. Good coverage for Broken Arrow. It's incomplete.
Nice.
The cornerback in coverage at the left side that time was Luke McGowan, and he was there with the receiver step for step. It brings up 3rd down and 5.
Nice job. It was just perfect coverage.
And we've not seen the corners get tested down the field a whole lot today. That was really the first time that there's been a straight go route like that's been thrown to, and he stepped up to the challenge.
But see, here's the thing. They run they run an out go, and the out's wide open. The inside receiver was wide open in the out, but they throw it to the guy covered.
3rd down and 5 for the Broncos from their own 45. Mansfield Legacy 2 for 4 on 3rd downs tonight. Can the Tigers get to the good side of 50-50 on that? Here's a pass to the left side. It's caught at the Tiger 44. Spun out of bounds as Isaiah Williams. It'll be a 1st down for Mansfield Legacy as they keep the drive going. 6:10 to play before halftime. Broken Arrow leading 14-7.
See, it's going to be tough to throw deep on us. I mean, we're doing a good job on the deep routes. That's why you got to take what the defense gives you. Like the previous play, they should have thrown to the out. That's what we gave them. And sometimes you just want to do too much.
1st down and 10. Now from the Tiger 44. Legacy has reached the Broken Arrow territory on each of its 3 drives, but has scored on 1 of the 3 so far. Yeah, the flag coming in as the quarterback goes down.
Holding.
I think with the sack, you decline that, don't you? It's going to be a loss of 6 with the sack and a loss of down.
Yeah.
It is a holding call against Legacy. And indeed,
well, the whole point is they lose the down now.
Yeah. So now it's 2nd down and 16.
Yeah.
What have been your impressions of Josh Blankenship since he took over the
love
job
it.
here?
Just love what he's done. Just love it. I think he stepped in. He's done a great job. We're trying to do everything in our power for him to be successful. And he's hired a great staff. They're on task. They're coached hard. I love them.
More on that in just a moment. 2 receivers right, 1 left, a tight end left on 2nd down and 16 now for Legacy. They haven't been behind the chains like this in quite some time. Here's the snap. Parlin wants to throw. He's pressured. Flips it out to the near side. It's caught by the running back, Williams. He doesn't have a lot of room to work. He got about 2 yards down to the 48, but no more. That'll bring up 3rd down and 14 here for Mansfield Legacy.
They just can't protect. That's tough. When we blitz, it's going to be tough. And that quarterback, being new, he's going to scramble. He's going to break the pocket real easily.
Knowing that, and it's 3rd down and 14, are you bringing a blitz here?
Oh, yeah. I want to keep him uncomfortable.
The touchdown scorer, Max Harris, is in at running back now for
and we're bringing something
Mansfield
too.
Legacy. Trips right to the wide side of the field. Parlin wants to throw. He's got a little more time. Pump fakes, now flings it to the far sideline. It's caught at the 46-yard line, and he can't get any further than that. Flying to the football were a couple of defenders, and in there on the tackle.
Great job.
There were a couple of guys, but flying in last was Javion Franklin. Marion Horn perhaps in on the tackle as well. That'll bring up 4th down and about 12 here for Legacy. Are they going to punt for the first time?
Yeah. Well, we were faking the blitz. We were faking the blitz there, and what we did is we just snuck the defensive ends and wrapped them under, and they had a hard time protecting it.
Now keep an eye out. The punter is Isaiah Williams, who's also a wide receiver, so they've got plenty of athleticism to be able to fake a punt. The snap's back to him. Williams looking around. He will punt it away. It's a pretty good kick. Caught at the 12-yard line by Moore. He's trying to power through a couple of defenders, but he's brought down at the 15-yard line. 3:45 to go, and the Tigers need to go 85 yards to get the ball in the end zone before halftime, leading 14-7, but this might be a chance to try out Griffin Stever's arm a little bit, Spad.
I know, we're going to have to. To me, it's almost like running a 2-minute offense right now, even though there's 3 minutes left, but it's like, let's really work on it.
Well, especially, you're hoping to get your 2-minute offense the ball around the 30, 35-yard line. You're starting all the way back on your 15, so you got plenty of field that you got to try to cover here.
We got to be real careful returning those balls too.
2 receivers to either side, a handoff straight at the middle. This is just the second offensive drive of the game for Broken Arrow. They scored on their first and then returned a kickoff for a touchdown that essentially negated the second drive. It's a gain of about 5 out to the 20-yard line, brings up 2nd down and 5.
That was a good play. That was just a zone. He cut it back, did a great job.
Nathaniel Jones averaging more than 4 yards a carry so far. Jones in the pistol. Fullback left is it's not Will Height. Will Height was the tight end. Stevens going to throw it this time. Zips it over the middle of the field. It's caught by Spears Jennings across the 40-yard line. Brought down at the 44-yard line. Check that. That was not Spears Jennings after all. On the catch that time was Sterling Ramsey. It's a good gain and a 1st down for Broken Arrow, and that was a good zip over the middle there for Steber.
Tempoing.
2 receivers to either side. Ball on the right hash from the 44. 1st and 10. Here's the snap. Fake handoff. Quick pass to the left side. It's caught in the slot across the 50-yard line into Bronco territory and brought down for a gain of 11 that
another
time.
First down,
was Ryan Fox. It's another 1st down.
Well, the tempo's getting to them right now. They can't adjust. And I tell you what, it's just really impressive.
Steber making good, quick decisions right now as well. It looks like he knows where to go with the football. Trips right, including the tight end, Will Height. 1st down and 10. This time a dump pass to the left side, looking for Jones, who has absolutely nowhere to go. He somehow is able to fall forward down to the 44-yard line. It's a gain of a yard, and it brings up 2nd down and 9. 2:28 to go before halftime. And we have a whistle and a stoppage. Now they'll immediately wind the clock again. 2nd down and 9. Coming to the near side is Dawson Atchison.
We got plenty of time.
Atchison, excuse me.
We got plenty of time here.
Stever takes a snap, tries to hand it off up the middle. Nowhere to go again. That was Jones trying to carry it back up the middle. Excuse me. That was Michael Matthews trying to carry it up the middle. No room to work. 3rd down and 9 coming up. Spears Jennings and Atchison split right. Now a 3rd receiver comes over to the right side as well. That is Josh McMillan in the game on the right side. Tight end left. Here's the snap. Stever wants to throw. Zips it over the right side. It is caught by Spears Jennings inside the 30-yard line. Makes a man miss. Now knocks a man down inside the 20. Attacking the left sideline to the 10. 5. Touchdown Tigers. The Oklahoma Sooner commit. R.J. Spears Jennings works his way into the end zone. There is a flag down at the 3-yard line with 1:32 remaining. before halftime.
I tell you what, as much as they're getting those safeties so tight into the formation, they're having trouble getting those crossing routes. It's very difficult to switch cross route because you don't see them.
Here's the call from the official. Unsportsmanlike conduct called against Spears Jennings.
For scoring?
Does that, so that wipes the touchdown off.
Oh, wow.
Because it was before he reached the end zone.
Yes.
That moves the ball back to the 18-yard line. Shotgun set again for Stever. Still 14-7 Broken Arrow. Stever's going to take it himself up the middle this time. Works his way inside the 15-yard line. Breaks a tackle and falls forward. He's going to be marked down at the 11. Gain of 8. Making a gain of 7. Brings up 2nd down and 3. The Tigers running a little more time off the clock here.
Oh, we got him so off balance right now. It's ridiculous.
3 receivers split right, 1 left. Approaching the 1-minute mark of the second quarter. Stever's going to throw it. Looking over the middle. It is caught. Touchdown, Tigers. A zip pass on the
God, I love
quick pass to the left side. That time it was Sterling Ramsey on the catch, and the Tigers do indeed go on top 20-7.
Are you talking about just something impressive there? You could see him in the zero coverage, and then the middle safety's coming over to the format. Just run a little quick slant, 1-on-1 there.
Well, and Ramsey that time, as the kick is on its way, it's up and good. That makes it 21-7 Broken Arrow. If you're Ramsey there, you know you're running that slant. Your main goal is to get that inside release so it doesn't break up the timing of Stever, and he did it perfectly. I mean, that was just well executed all around. How about that 2-minute drill, Spav?
I know. And you know that safety didn't even see it. What's crazy about their 2 safeties is we're running the ball up the middle of the play previous before that, and the safeties are looking outside at the receivers, and we're running the football. I mean, where are your eyes?
In a way, the Tigers scored twice on that drive. They only get 7 points worth of credit.
I know,
but in a
true.
way, they scored twice. It's
That's
21-7 Broken Arrow with 1:02 to play before halftime. And so far, the Tigers 2 for 2 on touchdown drives. They are now outgaining Mansfield Legacy 156-123, despite having the ball for nearly half the amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
And they're up 14 points. That's a good combination.
Yeah, I know. I'm just so impressed by our offense right now, keeping them off balance.
Hunter Martins is on for the kickoff. He'll be kicking into the wind now. Gets this one away. It's a pretty good kick. Caught inside the 10-yard line, across the 15, outside the 20 to the right side, and knocked out of bounds around the 24-yard line. Again, that time on the return was Avion Williams. He's returned, I think, every kick so far for Legacy.
And we've had great coverage on it, too.
That time, leading the way on the tackle was Javion Franklin. So Parlin is going to have some work to do at the quarterback spot to get his team into scoring position here.
Mm-hmm.
Broken Arrow leading 21-7 with less than a minute to play before halftime. And keep in mind, the Tigers kicked off to start the game. Broken Arrow gets the ball to start the second half. Empty set, 2 receivers left, 2 right. They're missing a player. Here comes Williams back out, and now Legacy's going to have to waste a timeout. That's a valuable timeout. You're trying to get the ball down the field in 55 seconds.
Yeah.
That's a timeout you don't want to have to use there.
But you know, I used to try and use a lot of my timeouts, and a lot of them were just basically to rest your players because it's hot, you know, and they're not used to playing this intensity. But I didn't intentionally want to use a timeout when you have to. I mean, there's a difference. You know, it's good for us because we're getting a little rest right now.
It's actually warmer in Broken Arrow than it is here in Mansfield right now by 2 degrees, shockingly enough.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean it's cool by any stretch of the imagination for football here tonight.
Mm-hmm.
The timeout has wrapped up. Legacy back out on the field. Looks like they've got Harris out there at tailback, though, this time. No, that is Avion Williams. 2 receivers left, 2 right, ball on the right hash.
Mm-hmm.
Mansfield has to go 76 yards in 55 seconds to score a touchdown. Handoff up the middle. Williams bounces off the first defender, but then is wrapped up and pushed backwards. Not a lot of room to work that time. Briley Ferguson leading the way for the Tiger defense.
You know, we're running man under halves, and that's what we were doing right then. And just so we're manning everybody up so they can't run any of their little screen game. And it's going to be difficult to run vertical. They're going to have to run the football is what we're telling them to do, and they tried, and it didn't work.
2nd down and 9. Under 30 seconds to play now before halftime. Broken Arrow leading 21-7 in the season opener of this 2021 campaign. Looking for a 4th straight season opening victory. Another handoff at the middle. Williams has some room to work this time across the 30. Toppled down forward across the 35 and brought down at the 36 with just 11 seconds to play before halftime. That will move the chains, but the Legacy coaching staff doesn't look particularly interested in using timeouts. Clock's on the move. 3, 2, 1, and that will end the first half. Broken Arrow leads at 21-7 after 2 quarters of play.
And just 2 drives.
Just 2 drives. They returned to kickoff for a touchdown, scored on every opportunity they had, got stops on 3 of the 4 opportunities they had, if you include this one going into halftime. So Spav, not a whole lot that could have gone a lot better in that first half for Broken Arrow.
No, I mean, we can't even look at our stats because the stats, like you said, are not justified because of the fact that we've only had 2 drives. And, you know, they've had 4 drives. So, I mean, the stats are going to obviously be in their favor. But I'm telling you what, I am so impressed with our offense right now, the way they're keeping Mansfield totally off balance, totally. I mean, the way they're tempoing, changing snap counts, they're moving personnel in and out of the game, changing formations. Quite really impressive. Very tough on a defense. But what's really sound with our defense is they're playing really sound, simpleized football right now. You're not seeing any crazy blitzes or anything like that. He's keeping things under control and doing things right. And I tell you what, this early in the year, he's playing great defense.
21-7, your halftime score. Broken Arrow leads Mansfield Legacy. We got some solid halftime entertainment coming up for you. We got Ken Ellett coming your way, and then also we'll hear from Madison Dildine, who is actually down here. We were hoping to have her on the sidelines tonight. Some technical difficulties have prevented that so far, but she's got our 100-yard segment with Coach Blankenship coming up here in a little bit as well. So that's coming your way here at the half. Broken Arrow leads 21-7. You're tuned into Broken Arrow Tiger Football, brought to you by ArrowVision.
Hey Tiger football fans, I'm Madison Dildine and we're here at Tiger Memorial Stadium about to go 100 yards with head coach Josh Blankenship. You ready?
Ready.
Let's do it. Coach, you've been back in Oklahoma since January. How has that transition been and how excited is your family to be in Broken Arrow?
That's probably my favorite part. You know, I'm from here, my wife's from here, all our family's here, and then to get to bring our kids back here and experience what we grew up and got to experience has been one of the neatest things.
That's awesome. Going back to winter workouts when you first arrived, up until now, the very first week of the season, how much growth have you seen from this team?
A lot of growth. They already had a really good work ethic. I think it's probably the thing that I can't stop talking about to other people when they ask is how hard our guys have always worked since I got here. It's been honing it in and adding a mental aspect to it that I think plays into, you know, how we perform on Friday nights.
Talk to me a little bit about some players on both sides of the ball that you are expecting to have great seasons.
Well, there's the 2 guys that everybody knows about, Marion Horn and Robert Spears-Jennings, that have gotten a lot of the offseason accolades and the attention from recruiters, so we expect big things from those guys. Griffin Stever's going to step in as a first-year quarterback. You know, you're going to be a quarterback for a program this big. We have big expectations. Any of the seniors, you know, especially returning players, you know, you've got some guys in the secondary, Jacob Jennings and Javion Franklin. We've got some guys up front, Mitchell Banning. Guys on the other side like Evan Robinson, and I could go on and on and on of guys that have some game time under their belt, and so you expect guys that have that experience to perform.
Talk a little bit about the coaching staff that you've assembled.
Love my staff. I think that's another perk of being at a place like Broken Arrow is this is a place other people want to be. So I kind of had the pick of the litter, so to speak, and getting the top guys that I wanted here. They've done nothing but impress me, and the way they develop relationships with their players. has been awesome.
As we get near the end zone, your message since you've arrived has been to the tree. Tell Tiger fans what that means to you and to this football program.
Well, for me, as early back as the interview process, that was one of my main questions is, what happened to the tree? As a kid growing up in this area, that was the icon of Broken Arrow football, at least from an outsider at the time. And I wanted to find a way to tap into that tradition that I know means a lot to the people that played over at Kirkland. But then what could we do to make it a little modern to something the guys would buy into now? And simply put, everybody works hard. Everybody knows that to get near the end zone, to score, you got to go through the end zone. Everybody's doing that. What are we going to do to go a step further? Well, we're not just going to cross the goal line. We want to go all the way to the tree.
That's awesome. That was 100 Yards with head coach Josh Blankenship. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Now, the Silver Spurs will perform a routine to Please Don't Stop the Music.
Welcome back to Broken Arrow Tiger Football. This is Ken Allett, and each week that we're on the road, I'm going to have an opportunity to interview someone from the athletic department or the athletic program, a lot of head coaches and so on. But today we get to talk to the head of the Broken Arrow Athletic Program, Executive Director of Athletics, Steve Dunn. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Coach. I appreciate you having me on.
Well, I don't want to talk a lot about last year. I mean, it was a tough year, but you guys handled the COVID, I think, tough about as well as you could. But when you look at this year, it looks like it's going to be a great start in a lot of ways, but what are your thoughts on the whole thing?
You bet. And it was a challenging year last year. Just so proud of our community, our coaches, our student athletes, everything that we asked them to do. They did more, and they knew that we were doing that to give them the opportunity of participating and competing, which is what these kids love to do. So, we were very excited to get through last school year, knowing that there are still some challenges ahead for this year. And, I feel like our athletes and our coaches, a lot of the protocols that we put in place last year, they have implemented themselves this year just to give, our kids the best opportunity and chance to continue participating. And I think just overall, just the vaccination, didn't exist around this time last year. And there were just some unknowns still at that time. So we're pretty excited about this year, and just so far so good, starting out the school year, and hope to continue to participate.
This is your fourth year coming up?
Fourth year.
Boy, that's crazy. But a lot of people don't really know who Steve Dunn is, really. Tell us a little bit about, I know your whole family's education background, your mom, your dad, a little bit about your family.
Yeah, you bet. So it's kind of a family calling. Dad was a longtime coach before getting into school leadership. Mother was a school leader at the district level. My brother is a coach, an athletic director, and it's just, like I said, it's kind of just a family calling that the Dunns have done. We believe in education-based athletics. I think we were all impacted in some form or fashion. Dad was a part of a 1960 state championship football team at Midwest City High School. My brother and I were super blessed to be on some incredible teams at Carl Albert High School in the late 90s and early 2000s that went on a run of 5 consecutive state championships. And just to be around those coaches, I tell our coaches that coaches have always been my heroes. When I look back, and I remember hearing about Jim Darnell at Midwest City and Dick Evans at Midwest City, and these guys that were like Paul Bunyan to me when Dad told stories of reverence of his coaches. And then to get to play for guys like Gary Rose and Tex Rollins and Matt Weber and Mike Corley and just these other guys who have just been giants in our lives, I think that's probably what led to my brother and I getting into it ourselves. So yeah, I can't picture myself doing anything else.
And you have 3 beautiful little kids, that aren't so little anymore.
They're getting big. So I've got Tatum, she's 8. I've got Luke, he's 5, and I've got Ava June, and she's 2, going on 20.
Yeah.
But yeah, super blessed with awesome kids. And my wife Michelle, she's a pharmacist here in town, and is just an incredible mother and an incredible wife, and so supportive of everything that we do here at BA.
Looking at our coaching staff, I mean, every year you're going to have some changes that occur. Had a chance to hire some great head coaches this last summer. I know girls basketball. Tell us a little bit about that.
Girls basketball, we were able to hire Shane Coffey. Shane was at the University of Tulsa as the associate head coach alongside Matilda Mossman for the last 10 years. Prior to that, he was at Edmond Memorial High School as the head girls basketball coach, where he built really kind of a perennial power. They were a staple in the state tournament year in and year out. He's originally from Okarche, and his kind of mentor is Coach De La Garza at Edmond Memorial High School. So just comes from a great pedigree and lineage of coaches. And I think the first week of practice, I saw a video of him kind of demonstrating a defensive drill and diving on a basketball floor, and I had to call HR to see if we had that much insurance to cover an injury. But no, just the enthusiasm, the work ethic, the expectations that he's brought has been it's been great for our kids, for that program.
I want to hit on one more new coach you've got in, head boys soccer.
Yeah, head boys soccer coach Jordan Schmoker. He's been at Booker T. Washington High School past few years. Had a semi-final appearance. Last year we go to Booker T and play them, and he puts a plan together, and they sent us home with one of our only losses on the year. Great young man, soccer family. If you're from this area, you know Schmoker. You know the older brothers. You know that family has a passion, a great passion for soccer. Coming out of high school, he went to Coastal Carolina University, which is one of the best soccer universities in the country. Finished his career at Northeastern State University, multi-time All-American, career leaders in several categories, both in the conference and at his school. Played a little bit of professional soccer overseas, and again, just kind of brings, when you go out to practice and you see him on the ball, it kind of shows his team, he's kind of a been there, done that kind of guy, and he's able to get out there and kick it around the pitch with them. So really excited about Coach Schmoker. He's hired an incredible staff of soccer guys, and so we're excited to see that team, the defending state champions, come back out this spring and not defend the state championship, but really attack it, and take it day by day, and try to put a team on the field that's as tough and aggressive as they were last year.
Well, just real quick, let's talk a little bit of football. Josh Blankenship, new head football coach, obviously a new head football coach, but certainly not new to this area.
That's right. Anybody that's been in the Tulsa area, is familiar with the Blankenship name, at least. Josh was a pretty heralded prep quarterback coming out of high school across the country. Ended up playing college football right here in his hometown. Kind of a family connection. And then he's just, kind of like a lot of coaches' kids. You kind of get into the family business, and you were so impacted through your experience in athletics or in your sport, and you felt this deep calling to get back into it and kind of go to the other side of the locker room, if you will, as a coach. And he got here early January and has hit the ground running. He has brought in an incredible staff of men.
I was going to ask you about that. Talk about his staff a little bit, because he's got some good ones.
He's got some good ones, and I'll tell you, one thing that was pretty impressive, and I haven't shared this with many people, but at his press conference in January, a gentleman came with his wife and 3 kids, and it was his defensive coordinator from Adams State University in Alamosa, Colorado, who had driven his family, 12 hours to a press conference just to be there for, his head coach, be there for his boss. and to show his support for him. And he hadn't even been hired. He just wanted to come and show his support. And so there was this deep sense of loyalty. And so that was, Britt Mon, our defensive coordinator of eligibility and compliance. And he has spent time at the University of Utah, at Idaho State University. He was the head football coach at Snow Junior College, where they were second in the country in the NJCAA. But just brings a wealth of experience and knowledge from the defensive side of the football. And then he, another guy that he was able to kind of attract early on is a young man named Justin Pruitt, who, was the offensive coordinator, was at Springdale Harbor over in Arkansas, Oklahoma upbringing, played at the University of Central Oklahoma. But again, I could go on and on about his staff of guys, 15 of them that are all pulled on the same rope. They're in the same boat, and been super impressed just with the energy and the attention to detail that they've brought every day.
Well, excited for the year. Coach Dunn, you've done a great job, and appreciate all that you do. And let's go second half here and get things done.
You bet. Thanks, Coach.
Welcome back to Mansfield, Texas. Adam Hildebrandt with you alongside Steve Spavital. And Steve, a 21-7 halftime lead for the Broken Arrow Tigers. Other than one drive that was elongated that Legacy was able to go on, the Tigers pretty well controlled that first half, and now they get the ball to start the second half. What stood out to you the most about that first half performance for Broken Arrow?
I tell you, there's a lot of things, really. I mean, being your first ball game, you're not, I wasn't expecting us to be this good, for example. I was really impressed with our timing on offense, our lack of penalties. I think we've got, 3 penalties? As a team, our effort is just is so good right now. Our run fitting on defense and just the way we're doing things. Our calls and everything, we're keeping things simple. We're keeping things under control. Really impressed offensively. Defensively, though, which I thought we did a really good job. And it's tough to do things because you're not seeing us really take that path of least resistance, which you see a lot of defensive linemen do. And we got some experience there with Banning and all those, so we know we're going to do a lot better job. But I tell you what, we have them so off balance. Their safeties have no clue of what we're doing. They're either looking out at receivers and then we're running the ball, or they're fitting down, we're throwing the ball. They have no clue. We got them so unbalanced. I'm really impressed.
And Broken Arrow has returned one kickoff this season, and it went for a touchdown.
Yeah. The very first one, or was it?
It was, yeah. No, it was the first one that they've received.
Right.
The only one they've received.
Right.
That was Dietrich Moore that took it 81 yards to the house earlier. Can the Tigers find similar magic here? Broken Arrow, white jerseys, white pants, black numbers with gold trim, black helmets with a gold logo on the side. Mansfield Legacy, red jerseys, white numbers, black pants, black helmets with red trim. The Broncos kicking from right to left. And it will be the Tigers returning and getting the ball to start the second half of play.
It's like, who do you kick it to?
Might squib it.
I know. I wouldn't kick it to any of those 4 back there.
The kick is away. It is high and short. Moore coming up to get it again. It bounces in front of him this time. Dietrich Moore going to try the left side, trying to cut the corner. Not there. Now powering through about 4 defenders, still pushing the pile forward out to the 35.
Nice.
And we'll see where they finally mark him down, just outside of the 36-yard line. Another good return from Dietrich Moore, who's returned both kicks so far today.
I know.
The sun has set, and so the city lights have come alive, and we can see a bare minimum of 3 other high school football stadiums. It's kind of your classic Texas Friday night.
I know, it is, isn't it?
That being said, you look over the last few years, in the last 10 years now, Spav, Broken Arrow is 3-1 when coming to Texas to play football games. They're trying to move to 4-1 tonight. And I understand,
we should have won that one.
I understand the hype around Texas high school football, but let's not pretend like it's just leaps and bounds above Oklahoma football.
No.
I mean, there's some really good football teams in the state of Oklahoma, and Broken Arrow has proven that by coming down here and having way more successes than failures recently.
Well, we're better coached than them right now. I'm not saying their players aren't any good. I mean, they got some good players out there.
2 receivers right, tight end right as well. Steve returns and hands it off on the first play of the second half. That's Marion Horn bouncing it around the outside. He's got room across the 50, inside the 40, and pushed out of bounds around the 30-yard line of Mansfield Legacy. They'll mark him out at the 28. Marion Horn able to break free for the first time today. He hasn't had many carries. They're using him kind of sparingly, Spav, as he has increased his role on the defensive side of the ball. The kid's just an incredible athlete, but another good run around the near side there.
Oh, we just sealed the whole entire sideline, and he just did a great job. Oh,
Pass
nice.
to the left side, caught in the slot, room to work across the 15-yard line. Outside of the 10, that's Ryan Fox. Inside the 5, he dives for the pylon, and he is in for the touchdown. There is a flag down on the near side.
But look at the yards after catch on that. I know there's a flag out there, but we throw. They got the linebackers inside so heavy on the run that we throw a little hitch out there.
Looks like it's against Legacy. The touchdown will stand for Broken Arrow. That makes it 27-7.
Well, we run a 5-yard hitch and get a touchdown on it.
Illegal substitution on Mansfield Legacy. Second one that they've had tonight.
And that's because he's changing these personnel groupings.
So now the kicking unit on for the PAT. A little bit of a unique formation here for the PAT.
I know.
Snap back, ball down, kick on the way. And it's good. 28-7, the new score. Just 35 seconds into the second quarter. The Tigers have had a touchdown, a kickoff return for a touchdown, and now a 35-second drive for a touchdown. Broken Arrow has not yet failed to score when touching the football this evening.
Yeah.
But Spav, one of the biggest question marks for this team coming into this season was the quarterback spot. You had Jake Raines, a 2-year starter that graduated last year. Griffin Stieber is a tight end who's been converted over the quarterback position. Tonight, he is 7 for 7 for 118 yards and 2 touchdowns. And as you mentioned, there's been some yards after the catch, but he's put the ball in some tight spots that has been maybe a little nervous, but he's been very decisive, and I think that's what has helped him complete some of those passes.
But he's just flawless at running the offense. He's, and of course it goes with Coach Blankenship, but he's just running the offense so well that he's gaining so much confidence now. He's doing really good, really impressed, I'm telling you.
The Mansfield Legacy coaching staff was still speaking with the officials until just a few seconds ago. Not exactly sure what the conversation was about. But now Broken Arrow will kick off left to right with a 28-7 lead. The Tigers continue to dominate this football game, now outgaining the Broncos 214-135, including more than 100 pass yards through the air. The kick is away. It's a bit short. Caught by Williams at the 13-yard line, coming around the near side, trying to break around the 25 to the 30, and he scampers out of bounds at around the 39-yard line, the 39-yard line. Chased him out on the play.
That was all running back,
Luke
too.
McGowan.
That was all the guy who caught the football. Because I tell you what, they didn't block a soul over there. I mean, it was just, that's a good run.
I'm trying to look. As we go back last year, the Tigers as a team had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games in which they threw the ball for more than 100 yards.
Mm-hmm.
And Stieber's already accomplished that feat once tonight.
But the thing is last year, typically there were big plays.
Yeah. Here's a handoff over the left side. Not a lot of room for the running back that time.
God, we fit that so
Floyd
well.
Wright comes up to make the tackle. It's a loss of about a yard on the play.
Mm-hmm.
Curtis Taylor on the carry. There's no room to work.
Well, I tell you what, their old line's getting tired. And you can see us just gaining strength. You got to give a lot of this to Cody Ellett. He's just our strength coach. Boy, he works these kids hard.
It's showing up tonight. Second down and 11. This is also an overall healthier Broken Arrow team than last year. That team got beat up on several occasions last season. Here's pressure in the quarterback's face. It's lobbed to the near side, tipped up in the air and caught, but he was out of bounds, incomplete.
Yeah. Good job.
Good coverage that time from the defense. Buddy Mack was in there, help him provide defense on that play. There's a flag down, and it's a roughing the passer call against the Broken Arrow Tigers. That's 3 big penalties now for BA, 3 15-yarders.
And we just had 3 penalties, but they were crucial penalties, like you said. I mean, they were just unbelievable penalties.
2 years ago when the Tigers came down here to play the Broncos, Broken Arrow committed only 1 penalty for 5 yards in that game.
Right. But these are effort penalties this early.
Especially that last one.
Not the taunting one, but.
Well, yeah, not so much that one. 1st and 10 from the Broken Arrow 47-yard line. This pass is high, and it slips through the hands of the intended receiver, incomplete. It eventually trickles out of bounds. It's marked incomplete. There was some question there as whether or not it may have been a lateral, but I thought that was pretty clearly a forward pass.
Typically what you got to do is the quarterback's got to continue to back up when he throws it. But what was unusual about that play is they pulled the same side they threw the ball. And you should be opposite because you want to draw those linebackers out of the way.
Right.
So your pull has precedence over anything.
Linebackers follow the lineman away from the ball, creating more space for the receiver. 2nd down and 10. Here's a handoff straight up the middle. Oh, and he's upended. Now brought down at the 45-yard line. Looked like we were about to have a body slam type of situation. It's a 2.5-yard gain for Max Harrison. Now we got another flag coming in late on the near sideline.
That's out of bounds.
Yeah, Luke McGowan was tangled up with an offensive player, and I think the receiver might have a penalty called against him.
It's that big tight end.
They say everything is bigger in Texas. The flags these referees are using look like they're the size of basketballs. Well, I haven't seen a call yet. Have you, Spav?
Mm-mm.
This has been a little bit of not a very rhythmic start to the second half.
No.
It's been start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. We've only played a minute and 48 seconds.
That's on them. So it'd be a personal foul on a tight end.
Got a little too physical on the sideline over here.
Well, because it was out of bounds.
Yeah.
It was like, the play was over and he was still blocking him out of bounds.
That moves the ball all the way back to the Legacy 41-yard line.
See, they're losing their cool, is what it is. Is this first game, these first 3 games are just games of failures. I mean, there's going to be a lot of issues.
Almost on purpose.
Yes.
I mean, not obviously on purpose,
You gotta
but
fight
you
through it.
want the team to make those mistakes to figure out where your weaknesses are and what you need to work on.
Exactly.
It's part of the learning process.
Because they're going to be effort penalties, effort mistakes.
3rd down and very long, 22 to go. Trips on the right side of the field. That's the wide side with the ball on the left hash.
No
They're
protection.
going to throw it over the right side. It's intercepted over the left side. Coming up the near side now on the interception across the 30-yard line inside the 20.
He's
trying
gonna
to get
score.
inside the 10. He's going inside the 5. Touchdown, Tigers. Dietrich Moore on the pick 6. He returned a kickoff for a touchdown earlier. Now he's got an interception in the score, but there is a flag down out at the 27-yard line. There's actually 2 flags, one at the 22 and one at the 27. Dietrich Moore with the pick and the long return. Will the touchdown stand is the question. I do believe both of those flags came well after the interception, so it should be Tiger ball either way.
It was a great underneath coverage, underneath drop by Dietrich Moore. They didn't even see him.
So a block in the back against the Tigers. And they'll move it out to the 36-yard line. And the foul occurred around the 21-yard line. Oh, they only marked off 10.
But these guys, Mansfield's lost their heads right now. They're not in the game. They're not doing things right.
1st down and 10, Broken Arrow from the Mansfield Legacy 31. The Tigers already lead 28-7 with 10 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. Stever's going to throw. He's looking deep over the middle. Leaping forward is Spears Jennings. He makes the catch and tumbles into the end zone. Touchdown, Tigers. What a play from Spears Jennings.
God, what a catch. That was impressive. Wow.
If you're wondering why OU offered him a scholarship,
Yes.
You've just seen why. That was a pretty well-defended play. He used his body to shield the defender, went up and got it. Took it into the end zone.
God, that was impressive catch.
My sources are telling me he's been offered on the defensive side of the football. Maybe they just like the athleticism overall. And granted, OU is generally pretty stacked at receiver, but they know they'll have a weapon on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
What a catch. And Broken Arrow after the PAT leads 35-7. 2 scores for the Tigers within the first 2 minutes and 11 seconds of the second half.
Yeah, and 2 scores we've had this game called back.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So we actually scored 2 more touchdowns.
Yes, that should have been, or
No,
would have
I'm
been
just-
Spears Jennings' second touchdown
I
of the
know.
game were it not for the taunting call earlier.
But what's impressive was with the quarterback, he did a great job of mastering the play and throwing the play action over top to the single receiver. He's throwing to the right people.
And
He's not throwing in double coverage.
Another thing, he had all the time he needed to make that
Absolutely.
throw. He had plenty of time to sit back, observe what the defense was doing, and put it on the right spot. And when you're not under pressure, that's very, very helpful.
Yeah, because they don't know what to do.
You look at this.
They don't know if we're going to run, pass, what. We've got them so off balance, it's just ridiculous.
You look at this offensive line. Couple of juniors, couple of seniors on this line so far, and there is some guys that are clearly starting to gel together early in the season. Here's a squib kid. It's bouncing free at the 37-yard line, but it is eventually recovered. That was Sidney Ward who was able to recover the football. This front line, Jameson Mejia, Shane Merrick, Evan Robinson, Nick Fuller, Reed Adams. I mean, not all those guys played just a ton last year, but they seem to have gelled together pretty well early.
How many do we have, like 2 starters maybe?
I think just 2.
Yeah, and that's, you know, Rob's.
And only 2 seniors.
Right, very good.
35-7 Broken Arrow, 1st and 10. Broncos from their own 37-yard line. A handoff straight up the middle. Avion Williams on the carry that time. He gets about 3, maybe 3.5 out past the 41-yard line.
Perfect. You know, they're spreading the formation. They're wanting to run the ball inside. They're scared to throw it right now, and I would be too.
Parlin Connor has had success throwing. He was 10 for 16, but he's averaging only 7 yards per completion. Meanwhile, Griffin Stever 8 for 8 for 149 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Right.
That last throw, in my opinion, being the most impressive of them. 2nd down and 7. For Mansfield Legacy, a little trouble on the exchange. He's able to get into the hands of the back, but he's brought down immediately. Not sure if that was Williams or Taylor. One of them wears 9, one of them wears 19. That was Taylor that time on the carry. And on the stop that time, Briley Ferguson for the Tigers.
And, you know, the D-line, I know we've got a few people back there, but I'm telling you, they're playing well right now. You know, a lot of times they want to play uneven and, like I tell them, to pass the path of least resistance, you know, instead of being where you're supposed to be. We're doing a good job of keeping the run lanes narrowed.
There's some confusion here. The receivers on the far side didn't get the play call. Mansfield Legacy 3 for 7 now on 3rd downs on the night. It's another 3rd and long, 3rd down and 9. Will the Tigers bring pressure?
Timeout. Yeah,
running back moves to the left side, and a timeout called by the Bronco coaching staff.
You know, that's 3 timeouts because of confusion. I mean, they have issues if you got to do that. I don't care if it's the first game or not. You can't have that many issues. That's communication.
And this is it's a new coaching staff. It's a first-year starting quarterback. So there's some new pieces in this side, this offensive side of the football for Mansfield Legacy, but
so do we.
The communication is not there right now. Well, that's an incredibly fair point. You got a new starting quarterback and a new coach on the other side as well.
But the communication you can see on us is sound. I haven't seen any of our players going, hey, what do we do? What do we do? You know, they know what to do. They're lined up, ready to go.
And that speaks to something that Coach Blankenship has talked about since he got on campus, which is the work ethic from this team from day one since he took over.
Yeah.
He said he showed up and they were ready to go, and that seems to be manifesting itself here in week 1.
And they like what they're doing right now.
2 receivers right, 1 left on 3rd and 9. Parlin takes the snap. Check that. This is backup quarterback Gordon. He dumps it over the middle. It's caught by Williams across the 45-yard line in Tiger territory and brought down at the 39-yard line. We have another flag down.
But I tell you what, that's a boot. You know, that's a bootleg type concept, and those are hard to cover. Those are really extremely hard to cover this time of year.
Cade Gordon into the game for the first time at quarterback. I haven't seen a call yet, but it looks like they're going to back up Legacy. Where was the flag down? I haven't even seen the flag on the field.
He's standing on it right there where the ball is.
Right at the 43.
He threw it so high.
Oh, a block in the back moves it essentially right back to the first down marker.
Dude, that's discipline.
But they do get a first down, so it will move the chains, but it reduces the gain on the play.
Right.
So the ball goes back into Mansfield Legacy territory at the 48-yard line after the 10-yard penalty.
First down.
And again, this has been a herky-jerky second half. We have not seen a whole lot of rhythm from this Legacy team, and the Tigers have just scored incredibly quickly, so they haven't run much time off the clock either. 2 receivers left, a tight end offset to the line of scrimmage left side. They'll hand it off to the running back, trying the left side, and not a lot of room to work. That was Curtis Taylor on the carry.
That's
he
good
got
defense.
maybe a yard out to the 49. The whole swarm of defenders there, but leading the way that time was Connor
Good
Willie.
defense, man. I'm telling you what.
Willie, a 6'1 senior.
See the way he gets up and mugs his linebackers up on the line of scrimmage, and you don't know if they're blitzing, they're dropping, or what. You know, here it's 2nd and long. You'll probably see some of the linebackers up there showing blitz, which is what I refer to as mugging.
Spav, I can only think of one play where a running back had a really good running lane. There was an 11-yard run for Avion Williams in that first half, but even the Max Harris touchdown run, he was swarmed several times. He just kept breaking tackles. Here's another timeout taken by Mansfield Legacy. The play clock was running down. Cade Gordon, the backup quarterback, is in the game, and he is getting an earful right now from the coaching staff.
But, you know, you can yell at that kid, and everybody thinks it's the kid's fault, but, you know, what you're seeing is what you coach. And I'm telling you, these are not the games where you're going to rip a kid's face off. That's not what you do in these games. You got to teach them, and teach them.
2nd down and 9 is the situation with 6:51 to play in the 3rd quarter. Broken Arrow leading 35-7.
My dad always told me when you're behind like they are, you're their best friend. When you're ahead, you're their worst enemy.
Keep pushing them forward.
Right. You got to keep coaching. You got to coach instead of blame.
We'll see how they come out of the timeout here. Already 2 timeouts burned in the 2nd half for Mansfield Legacy. Trips right, ball near the left hash. A quick pass to the right side. Look out, here comes the defense. Made one tackler miss. Williams now diving forward. He got back to the line of scrimmage and maybe gained another yard, but no more. It'll bring up 3rd down and 8. Boy, one of the defenders, I think it might have been Dietrich Moore, or maybe it was Jadaean Floyd Wright, came flying up through the defense to try to make that initial tackle. And Williams was able to evade it, but not for long.
They ran that quads formation again. 3 in the back was lined up on the same side as the 3 receivers, and he sprinted out as a blocker. So they're trying to get 3 on 3, and then you have the guy to pick the ball, but we forced it too quick.
3rd down and 8 from right at midfield. Ball on the right hash. Wants to throw over the middle. It is tipped and broken up. Incomplete. Marion Horn. Check that, not Marion Horn. That was, who was that? That was Javion Franklin breaking that play up that time.
Nice play.
And brings up 4th down and 8.
Well, they tried to isolate him, running the post over top.
Ball was a little bit behind the intended target. It looked like for a moment that Franklin might intercept that ball. Just got through his hands. Still a little over 6 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. The Tigers are about to get the ball for the 3rd time in this quarter.
That was a great defensive stop right there.
Tigers had the ball 3 times in the entire first half.
Oh, there's a holding.
They're about to get it 3 times in 6 minutes. The punt is away. It was nearly blocked. Oh, it's caught. And then Spears Jennings walks out of bounds at about the 6-yard line. So a long field ahead of the Tigers this time.
God, they were grabbing us on the edges.
Yeah, that was very
should have
nearly
been
a punt
flag.
block.
Should have been another flag on that one.
5:53 to play in the 3rd quarter. 14 points already scored by the Tigers in this quarter. The Tigers have allowed but 1 first down, I believe, in the 2nd half.
We're playing great defense. And, of course, offense is just unbelievable right now.
The offense has still not failed to score.
No.
And the defense nearly scored as well, were it not for a penalty. Here's a snap, handoff to Jones on the first play of this drive, and he'll lose a yard back to the 5-yard line, bringing up 2nd down and 11.
Well, they're going to try and zero down on us and run a lot of pressure now to try to make big plays, big lost yardage plays. But you're going to die by that sometimes. Got the safeties back deeper now. Now they're coming up.
Spears Jennings is one-on-one on this near side. Look out.
Safeties are coming down.
They're looking over to the sideline. Keep an eye out on R.J. Spears Jennings.
They see the blitz.
35-7. Here's the snap. They're going to throw it. Throwing it left this time. It is tipped up in the air, incomplete. They were looking to the left side instead, over towards Sterling Ramsey. There is a flag down. Defender might have got there a little bit early. Or perhaps was he saying something after the play? The preliminary signal is that it's against the defense.
He's talking trash to us. They totally
defensive holding. The defensive holding.
No, I didn't see that before.
That's a 10-yard penalty and an automatic first down. Now, Spav, we talked before the game, and you said you had seen on some film that this defense was going to play some zero coverage and really test those corners, and that's what we saw right there.
But look at how they're doing it. They have no safety help, and they're playing outside leverage.
2 receivers to either side on first down and 10 now from the 15-yard line. Running back Jones moves from left to right around the quarterback Stieber. Here's the snap. They hand it off to Jones, streaking through the left side of the defense. He's got 5 yards across the 20-yard line, trying to power his way forward, and brought down out at the 22 for a gain of 7. It'll be second down and 3 after the strong run from Nathaniel Jones. Boy, from our angle, it really didn't look like he had any space. He just sliced his way through that left side.
And did a good job with it. He's surfing and just getting right in there.
Well, they gave him 8 yards out to the 23. Second down and 2 coming up. 2 receivers split right. That's Spears Jennings all the way out on the right side. Marion Horn in the slot right.
Changing our formation.
That's an awfully dangerous combination of receivers over there on the right side.
Absolutely.
Horn now in motion in towards the backfield. They fake the handoff to him. Instead, give it to Jones straight up the middle. He's got a first down around the 25-yard line. Brought down at about the 27. It's a gain of 4 or so, and another first down for Broken Arrow.
But see, what's great about what Coach Blankenship is doing is you notice the personnel that we had out there on the receivers. But when you motion them in, you know, you have the stretch plays with them, and man, then you're handing the ball off in the middle. You're opening things up. They're so off balance.
First down and 10 for Broken Arrow from its own 27-yard line. This has been more like the first drive of the game that we saw from Broken Arrow. A little more methodical, a little more steady. Another handoff to Jones over the left side. Not much room that time, but again, he's able to push forward, and he gets 3 yards out of the 30-yard line. Spav, Jones is not a particularly big kid, 5'8", 180.
But he's got
I can count on one hand the time that he's falling backwards today.
His legs, he's got tree trunk legs. He's very powerful. Yards after contact is impressive. See, they're going to try and put pressure on it, looks like. They're in a zero coverage.
Second down and 7. Stieber wants to throw this time, looking deep over the middle, and it is caught at the 45-yard line across the 30. Marion Horn into the Texas night. Touchdown, Tigers. 41-7, Broken Arrow leads.
I'm telling you, they don't want any more of us. They want to go back in the locker room, go home.
It looked like the defender had maybe interfered with Horn at first, but he was able to come back and catch the ball.
It was kind of thrown short.
Stieber is yet to throw an incomplete pass, though he got some help from the receiver on that one to keep that streak alive. But what is a quarterback and a wide receiver but a couple of teammates trying to make a connection? Sometimes you get the help from one side, sometimes you get it from the other side. The PAT is good. It is 42-7 Broken Arrow with 3:06 to play in the third.
That is so awesome.
Stieber, 9 for 9 for 219 yards and 4 touchdowns.
But look how impressive it is. And you look in all 3 phases this early in the year, offense, defense, and special teams. We are very sound in what we're doing. I know we've had some crucial penalties, which can cost you in a bigger game. But boy, how proud you got to be of these kids right now. They're putting more pressure on them, and they've given up, is what they've done. Their coaches have no idea what to do next because we got them so off balance.
I'm trying to go back and look as the Tigers tee up the ball here. So far, Spav, if you had to guess, how many negative plays have the Tigers run on offense today?
I don't think we had one.
There was one on that last drive to start that last drive. That's the only one in the game so far. Kickoff Off to a good start on the return up the middle for the Broncos. Undercut is Williams at the 34-yard line. To go, we talked some about the offensive line and the pass protection earlier, but to be most of the way through the third quarter and to only have one negative play on offense in the game,
that's a
that
great
says
point.
a lot about those guys up front.
Absolutely. That's a great point, too, because, a goal on offense is no negative yards. That's got to be your goal. And obviously you're going to have some sacks or something of that nature. But I don't see it. I mean, they're dominating this game, like you said, up front. Line of scrimmage.
1st and 10, Legacy from its own 35-yard line. Broken Arrow leading 42-7. Quick pass to the near side. It's a wobbly pass that's too high. It's incomplete. Williams hearing it a little bit from one of the Tiger defenders.
God, our safeties come downhill so fast.
Yeah, flying up that time to potentially make a hit, even though it wasn't needed, was Taylor Griffin.
If he caught that thing, he was fixing to get murdered.
Well, and it looked briefly like the corner on the near side, and the guy in there right now is Elisha Wilson. If he had been able to get around the block that was being placed on him, he might have been able to intercept that because it was overthrown.
I know.
2nd and 10 now, 2 receivers left, 2 right. Quarterback in the game right now, I believe, is Parlin as he steps back to throw. He'll throw it over the near side. It's way too high again and incomplete.
Well, they're going 4 wide. We went to a man-free concept, and we just took away that play that they were trying to run, a slant play in there, and they couldn't run it.
Well, when you got that man-free concept, you got man coverage on the wide receivers, but you got safeties over the top. And part of the reason the Tigers are able to run that right now is, again, because that dominance up front. When you're confident that you only need 4 guys up front and can stop what's coming at you, it gives you a lot of options on the back end.
And you got to throw a quick game.
3rd down and 10 from the 35 for Mansfield Legacy. 2 receivers left. Parlin takes a snap, going to throw it deep over the left side. It is caught at the 40-yard line of Broken Arrow. Was he in bounds?
No.
He is. We're still looking. Yes, he was.
Man.
They mark him out at the 39-yard line. An excellent catch from Isaiah Williams.
It was. It was a nice catch. It was good coverage, too. Running a little flag route there.
Tigers in a zone that time. The safety didn't get over there quite in time. That's a long run for a safety to get all the way to the sideline that way. Good throw and a good catch. And again, you mentioned it, the coverage was pretty good.
It was.
He was there immediately to get him out of bounds. 1st and 10 Legacy now from the Tiger 39. 2:39 to play in the third quarter. Fullback right, running back in the game as well. They hand it off. Counter left with the ball is Avion Williams, and he is ushered out of bounds at about the 34-yard line. Give him a gain of 5 on the carry.
They run the counter.
Ball boy tried 3 different times to get a football to the official, and they couldn't connect. They finally got one.
Well, they run a counter play, and this time the tight end, number 13, actually blocked somebody, it looked like then. I always questioned his blocking ability, but he did a good job then.
Perhaps getting a little more aggressive as he settles into the first game of the year. 2 receivers right, 1 left. That tight end / fullback Heath is on the right side. They hand it off straight up the middle this time. And this time it is Max Harris on the carry. He has the only score of the game so far for the Broncos. He gets about 3 more yards, maybe 4, down to about the 31-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd down and 2.
See, the tight end wants out of the game. He's already back. Well, they're making him go back in. Yeah. He's patting himself on the helmet.
No, man, we gotta get a 1st down here. We need you.
Well, they ran counter and counter. Let's see. They're not going to run counter this time. Let's see what they do.
3rd down. They actually marked him at the 32, so it's 3rd down and 3. 2 receivers to either side. Heath, the tight end, split left in the slot. Here's the snap. Fake the handoff. Quarterback is going to keep it himself on the right side. Parlin pushing forward, and he's very close to the 1st down marker. They are going to give him the 1st down, it would appear. Just barely. 1st and 10 from the Broken Arrow 29. One minute, 35 seconds to go in the third quarter here at Newsom Stadium in Mansfield, Texas. Tigers looking for their 4th straight season opening win, including one here in the stadium 2 years ago over Mansfield Legacy.
Yeah. No, it was just it was Mansfield, wasn't it? Mansfield High.
I don't know. I wouldn't hear that.
I know.
That could be. Here's the snap. Trying to run it over the left side. Williams breaks a few tackles, and now he's on the loose. Inside the 25-yard line, drug down from behind. He tried to stiff arm the man. They got him by the arm instead. Here comes a late flag.
Horse collar?
Down at the 16-yard line. And the flag again came in late.
Well, he got the first down on his own, so and that was pretty impressive first down because he
was bottled up in the backfield.
I know, he was all. We did everything but wrap him up.
A personal foul against the Tigers. That'll be half the distance to the goal and move the ball down to the Tiger 8. 1 minute to play in the third quarter. The city lights of Dallas, or the DFW area, I suppose, sparkling around us on a dark but warm night here in north central Texas. Clock on the move. Tigers looking for a stop. Leading 42-7, but can your defense find a way to bow up here and still keep the Broncos out of the end zone despite the fact that it might not necessarily affect the outcome of the game? Here's a handoff over the left side. Again pushing forward. Looks like the ball might have come free. No, he kept it, and Max Harris again plows his way into the end zone.
God,
if you give him the ball in the red zone, it seems impossible to tackle him. Another good run for a touchdown.
You know, that was a powerful run. I'm just telling you, because he broke off from the blocking, and he made that on his own.
Second touchdown of the run of the night for Max Harris. And it kind of makes you wonder why they don't use him more consistently.
I know,
in the backfield.
because he scored the first touchdown.
He's got 4 carries for 40 yards and 2 touchdowns. The PAT is way off the mark. Might have been blocked. It almost, it was closer to hitting the play clock than it was the uprights.
Yeah.
That keeps the score at 42-13 with 36 seconds to play in the third quarter. Spav, the rest of the team as a whole is averaging only 3.6 yards per carry. Max Harris is averaging 10. Avion Williams has solid numbers, 9 carries for 46 yards. That's 5 yards a pop. But Harris has been the guy.
But, you know, that's what you find out in these games. You're going to find out who's going to put their tail between their legs. You're going to find out those that are going to come, that shine in these situations. You're going to find these things. Now, what Mansfield needs to really be focusing on, that they're down, they're not going to win this game. So the point is what are they going to do to get better? They have to figure out how to get better, or they're going to go 2-7 again, or whatever.
That was the mark last year for the Broncos. The Tigers coming off of a 7-4 year. Broken Arrow also. I want to get ahead. No one get ahead of yourselves. But the Tigers also won 7 games in 2017, the year before the state championship.
Yeah.
Again,
absolutely.
It's a long way to go. No one get out over the front of their skis at all.
And you know, that's the amazing thing about high school football is every year is different. I mean, you don't recruit these kids. You know, I mean, every year is going to be completely different.
Well, not to mention, in terms of you're not recruiting kids, as the ball bounces, it's free at the 30-yard line, but scooped up by Spears Jennings. That'll get Broken Arrow the football at least. 1st and 10 from the 30-yard line. But certainly there are kids when they get to the college level that they get in the weight room a little more dedicated, and so their bodies will change. But it's a different way than a kid who maybe hits a late growth spurt between their sophomore and junior year of high school, and suddenly they go from 5'8", 140 to 6'6", 6'1", and they're 200 pounds, and you're like, okay, we just added a whole new football player to our team just because this kid hit a growth spurt.
Exactly. I mean, it's like that, especially with your linemen. Your linemen, I mean, what's crazy about them sometimes is they don't play until they're a senior.
Yep.
And when they do, you know, they have a chance to get a scholarship and move on because they're that good. And
then sometimes you have an Andrew Rame who plays the second he steps into a football uniform because he's big. 1st and 5 after a short penalty. The Tigers, no, check that. It was 1st and 10. They had the chain set up wrong for some reason.
Yeah.
And a scamper over the left side for about 4 yards brings up 2nd down and 6.
Yeah, Andrew's going to be what's amazing about him. He's just played here a couple of years ago, and he's going to be the starting center for your number 2 nationally ranked team in the nation. So that's really good.
Timeout called. Check that. It's not a timeout. It's the end of the third quarter. 42-13. Broken Arrow leads with just 12 minutes to play here in the opening game of the 2021 season. We'll take a break, flip the field around, be back with more in just a moment. This is Broken Arrow Tiger Football, brought to you by ArrowVision. (42-13) with just 12 minutes to go as we start the fourth quarter. Broken Arrow 2nd and 6 in what has been an incredibly efficient game for the Tigers on both sides of the football today. Here's the snap, a handoff over the right side. A strong carry by Michael Matthews, senior running back. Neither running backs listed on the depth chart, so to speak. Marion Horn obviously is going to play a role in there as well, but Nathaniel Jones, Michael Matthews, both under 6 foot, and it hasn't mattered one bit in the running game tonight. They've run strong.
Yeah, they've just run a split zone there. Quite. So we got a new quarterback in, don't we?
Sure enough. He marked him just shy of the first down. That's Otson Newell into the game at running back. A quarterback. Another handoff over the right side. This is Matthews again. He's tripped up, but he gets out to the 48. That'll be a first down.
Now Austin, he's got a lot of experience, and I'll tell you what, we haven't dropped off any quarterback with this young man coming in.
6'2" junior Austin Newell.
Another big one.
Yeah, they took all the size that they didn't have at running back and moved it into the quarterback spot. You got a former tight end and another 6'2" guy backing him up.
Well, we're running the clock down now is what we're doing.
Newell takes the snap, hands it off straight up the middle. Another good run by Matthews. He's into Bronco territory. They mark him at the 46-yard line. Going to bring up second down and about 4.
There's nothing worse than a team just running down your mouth.
Well,
you can't do anything about it.
That was one of the question marks coming into this game. Can that offensive line both protect the quarterback and open up holes? And they've done so consistently. And even when holes haven't been necessarily blown wide open, we certainly haven't seen many defenders shooting into the backfield in this game.
Right.
Here's a snap on 2nd and 4. Another handoff to Matthews, straight up the middle. He gets hit sideways and bounces his way into the 38-yard line. Another gain of about 6 yards.
Well, the
if you can hand the ball off and get 6 yards, you're doing great.
Yeah, linebackers aren't fitting very well right now. Their O-line's just getting our O-line is just hammering their D-line. They've given up. But what we're doing now is we're milking the clock. We're running a 4-minute offense with 10 minutes left.
9.5 minutes to play.
So we're just running time off the clock.
And the Tigers have already run 2, and they started the quarter with the ball. So already run 2.5 minutes off the quarter. Another handoff straight up the middle. And again, Matthews with a strong run. He consistently has gotten to the second level. He lowers his shoulder and gets 8 yards down to the 30-yard line.
God, they're just. Now, here's an example where your D-line is running that path of least resistance. By doing that, you create running lanes, especially if your linebackers aren't coming downhill. So, in other words, we're getting the ball and just running into a pocket.
And Kyrie Harris enters the game at running back for the first time this season. The ball is rolled back on the snap to Newell. He's able to pick it up and scamper forward to get a first down. He got about 3 yards down to the 26-yard line.
I know.
Good reaction and making something out of nothing there for Austin Newell.
Well, they were blitzing the middle linebacker that time just to clog the middle this time. See, that's my point. They don't know what, they're so off balance. They don't know what to do. First
down and 10 from the 26-yard line. Tigers going in as they attack right to left here in the fourth quarter. Broken Arrow as a team is averaging more than 5 yards a carry in this game. Yet the lone rushing touchdown has come from the quarterback, Griffin Steeper. Here's the snap to Newell. He hands it off. Not a lot of room that time.
Yeah, we just missed the block right there. We just missed the block. Couldn't hang on to that block. Otherwise, he would have had a pretty good game.
Matthews did get back to the line of scrimmage. We're under 8 minutes to play here in the fourth quarter now. Tigers are getting a lot of guys, a lot of different guys' experience right now. Josh McMillan is in the game at wide receiver.
Running
Chris
time
Berger
off
is
the
out
clock.
there as well.
Just running the clock. Gosh.
Zachary Siebert is in the game at wide receiver also. Here's a snap, a handout to the right side. Room to work across the 20-yard line. Hit and knocked sideways, but down about a yard short. A yard short, that is, of the first down is Harris.
You know, he bounced that thing. He didn't even run near where the hole was supposed to be, but that's what makes our running back so good is they feel it, they see it. Because you're running a split zone, and he just ran it all the way to the wrong side, and it just because he saw it.
3rd down and 1 for Broken Arrow, trying to keep the clock moving. 5 minutes have already been run off the clock here in this quarter by this Broken Arrow offense on this drive.
And we're getting 5-6 yards a shot.
Play clock down under 10 again. They hand it off to Harris straight up the middle. No room to work with that time.
Yeah, they're starting to put pressure on us.
Went backwards about a half yard. It'll bring up 4th down and 2.
Well, they're zeroing down on us and putting a lot of people in the box. So it's getting a little more difficult. And we're not spreading the formation out, so we're kind of drawing into what they need to do right now.
Can the Tigers get 2 yards here and keep the drive alive? Is that the tornado sirens going off? Or maybe it's the 4th down call for the stadium here. Interesting choice on a hot August night. Here's the snap, handoff to Harris up the middle. He has got the first down across the 15-yard line and brought down at the 14. That will move the chains and keep the drive alive for the Broken Arrow Tigers.
You know, that was great. That was just a zone play, but I tell you what, the young man sees it. He sees where he needs to go. I love watching him run. He does a really good job.
Yet another running back stepping up to the challenge here. We saw that, last year with Nathaniel Jones. He was the guy coming in these moments last year, and now he's stepping up into the spotlight.
Exactly. You have to do that now because they're putting a lot of people in the box right now. There's more than we can block.
42-13, Broken Arrow leads, less than 5.5 minutes to play. A handoff,
oh, nice.
Cut back to the left side, hit hard and dropped down at the 12-yard line was the ball carrier that time, Michael Matthews. He gains a yard and a half, maybe 2 on the play. It brings up 2nd down and 8 as the clock approaches the 5-minute mark.
But still, he saw it. He saw where you needed to go. You know, they're clogging the middle up there, and he bended outside.
Under 5 minutes to play. The Tigers continue to just burn a ton of clock.
Oh, gosh.
They've had it the whole fourth quarter.
Yeah, we're going under 10 seconds every time.
Snap. Handoff over the right side. That's Harris again. Cuts it back up inside of a defender. He got about a yard down to around the 11-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd down and long.
Didn't have much perimeter blocking on that one. They were right there.
Yeah, and it's tough because the defense knows you're running the football at this point. So they don't really have to stay honest with the pass.
Well, the safeties, you can tell their heads are their heads aren't reading what they're supposed to be reading. They're anticipating. So they're sneaking down on the run quicker. Now we're spreading the formation out a little bit more.
3rd down and 7. 2 receivers left on the wide side of the field. Tight end left as well. Here's a snap. Check that. It was tight end right. They try to hand it off straight at the middle. No room for Harris. He's knocked backwards 3 yards, back out to the 14-yard line. And that will bring up 4th down and 10. The clock will be well under 3.5 minutes.
Sure.
Offense is still out there.
Well, you know what's funny is he showed 3rd and long, and he gets in a pass formation and he runs the football. That's how confident he is in his O-line.
Will the Tigers throw it this time on 4th down and 10? 2 receivers left, tight end right, running back right is Harris. Newell in the shotgun. He takes the snap, fakes the handoff. No, he did give it away. Harris trying to turn the corner. He doesn't have a lot of room, drags a defender down to about the 11-yard line. And that will turn the ball over on downs with 3 minutes and 1 second remaining. The Tigers run more than 9 minutes off the clock on that drive. And that's, he didn't score,
awesome?
but that's equally as effective towards winning this football game.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't have all of our starters in the game,
No.
but they played like our starters. I mean, I was impressed with them. The way they ran the clock, how the communication between the coach and them, you didn't see any mistakes. Now, we could have had some blocking errors or whatever, but as far as communication and everything, we did a great job. Just bottle it up.
Mansfield Legacy back with the football. They hand it off up the middle. Not a lot of room to work. Mitchell Banning on the stop. Gain of about 3 yards out to the 14-yard line. That was a 9-minute and 20-second drive, 15 plays and 54 yards. That is the second drive of 14 or more plays for the Tigers in this game.
Yeah. And the
It means they're
possession
limiting their
time was
mistakes.
incredible.
Quarterback taking it himself over the right side this time. It's the backup
Banning
quarterback, Gordon. And again, Banning comes in to make the stop. Got him by the ankle. Brings up 3rd down and about 7. But, Spav, we talked about this some last year. At the high school level, theoretically, at some point, the offense is going to make a mistake. So to have both your 1s and 2s go on 14-plus play drives and just not make a catastrophic mistake in there somewhere, that's really good discipline.
Absolutely. Great point. And you're right. And that's the old theory, bend but don't break, make them snap the football. That's what you do. You make them snap the football and just keep going. But the communication and what they did was really impressive.
3rd down and 7 with less than 2 minutes to go for Mansfield Legacy. They take the snap, throw over the middle. It is caught. Is it enough for the first down is the question. It's very close to the first down, and they are going to give it to the Broncos with 1 minute 32 seconds remaining. Broken Arrow leading 42-13 on its way to its 4th straight season opening victory.
Right. I tell you what, it was just, I don't know what to say. I'm just really, really impressed by what we've done in our first ball game.
And I think
with the new staff,
I think both of us coming into this game would have, if you asked either one of us, would have said Broken Arrow has the advantage here. They're the likely team to win. But for it to have been this consistently dominant over the course of the game, and really the mistakes in this game for Broken Arrow were limited to the penalty flags. There weren't very many execution mistakes in this game.
Right. And some of those are effort mistakes, and those you can correct. But, in these games, you go 1,000 miles an hour, and it may be in the wrong direction, but you go 1,000 miles an hour, and we'll fix you as we go when we get into district play.
We'll turn you in the right direction in the film room. You just keep running hard.
But you don't see the communication like we've had that consistent in the first game.
2nd down and 10 for Legacy with less than 30 seconds remaining. Another handoff up the middle. Ball carrier's bottled up. Gets about 3 yards out near the 25-yard line. And that will likely be the last play of the game. In on the tackle that time was Makai Hanley for Broken Arrow. Clock down to 5 seconds, and that'll do it. A 42-13 opening game victory for the Broken Arrow Tigers. They had to drive 4 hours south to the Metroplex here, but they'll be taking a W on the bus back home to Tulsa. An excellent game for the Broken Arrow Tigers, and they win it 42-13.
That was just totally impressive game. I'm telling you, just how we dictated on both sides of the ball. They had no clue what was happening. We had them so off balance. And that's what you want. And a lot of that is with our communication. Our communication on offense and defense was really outstanding. You win the efficiency battle. So we were never really going for 3rd and longs. We always had it under control. You know, we had Mansfield under control. A lot of it was some of theirs was just not so much missed tackles, but when that running back was tough for them and making the yards after contact. That was some of the things that they did. But, you know, those things are going to be corrected with us. But the way we forced on the bubbles and the smokes was impressive. Our perimeter run fitting. I really enjoyed this game. I didn't think it would be this clean for us or for them because of 2 new staffs. But I tell you what, we didn't even have to call a timeout. They called them all.
That's right.
You know, and that's really effective for us because now we can use them as a rest time for our players, not confusion.
Broken Arrow touched the ball 7 times in that game, Spav. They failed to score only once, and that was when the game was already well decided, and the main goal was running time off the clock, in which they ran 15 plays and ran more than 9 minutes off the clock. So
that was awesome.
Every time Broken Arrow got the football, they executed the goal in mind on that drive.
Absolutely.
And the Tigers will see better defensive teams this year than they saw tonight, but that's certainly a good starting point to go out and understand this is the goal on this drive, and they went out there and executed it.
Well, they know they're doing the little things right, and what you see is what you coach, you know, and what I was impressed with is just the way they handled themselves. They didn't do anything crazy. Offensively, they didn't do anything, you know, to outthink themselves, out-trick their play, you know, doing anything. They kept everything within their system. Defensively was the same way, and that's what I liked about that as well, is they weren't trying to be too fancy. You know, 3rd and long, you can see them not blitzing, but just twisting the line, which was really helpful and a lot of pressure with them. So you're seeing some really good things, because he doesn't have all this package in, and neither does offense. So it's going to get better and better, and these kids are going to gain a lot of confidence from this game right here.
Some final numbers from the night. Broken Arrow outgaining the Broncos 382 to 229. 219 passing yards for Griffin Stever. He was 9 for 9 for 4 touchdowns. The Tigers also ran it for 163 yards compared to 104 for Mansfield Legacy. Individually on the ground for the Tigers, Michael Matthews, 10 carries, 44 yards. Nathaniel Jones, 11 carries for 44 yards. Marion Horn, 3 carries for 34 yards. Griffin Stever, 4 for 24 and a touchdown. Cabry Harris, 7 touches for 13 yards. And Austin Newell, 1 attempt for 4 yards in the game. Meanwhile, receiving-wise for Broken Arrow, R.J. Spears-Jennings, 2 catches for 71 yards and a touchdown. Was almost 2 touchdowns. There's a penalty that brought it back. Ryan Fox, 2 catches for 39 yards and a score. Sterling Ramsey, 2 catches for 33 yards and a score. Marion Horn, a catch for 70 yards and a score. 4 different players caught touchdown passes tonight. That, I can say with confidence, was not something I expected coming into this game this evening. Have 4 different guys catch touchdown passes.
Doubt. And I tell you, it was just the fact that we tempoed them when we needed to. We changed the personnel groups. We got them twice in substitution penalties. So the way that we were moving our personnel in and out and changing the formations, movements, I mean, there was a lot of smoke and mirrors we had going on too. And man, I tell you, that was a tough offense to defend, and they did a good job of dictating everything to their defense and vice versa with our defense.
Joshua Wilhite and Nathaniel Jones also had catches tonight. And then on the defensive side of the ball, Spav, first of all, Dietrich Moore returns a kickoff for a touchdown. He also had an interception that went for a touchdown but was called back because of a penalty. He had a phenomenal game. Jadaean Floyd Wright was in the right places at the right time. Mitchell Banning was a problem up front. Briley Ferguson was a problem up front.
No doubt.
Marion Horn, we didn't talk about him a lot on defense, mostly because they were, I don't think they wanted to throw it in his direction.
Yeah, no.
And then Jalen Franklin, I mean, this is a defense that we saw the guys who made names for themselves, who stepped up to the plate with some injuries last year and really filled into those spots and played very, very well. We saw the continuation of those names tonight, and that's exciting for this defense.
Absolutely. And I tell you, it's a different style of defense. I like what he's doing. Coach Mon is doing a great job as far as what he's doing. I mean, it's a lot of the stuff he runs I used to run, and I understand it. And he's gap sound. He fits right. He mixes his coverages up well enough, and I really like what he's doing.
Lest we think lest we make people think that this team is ready to go out and win a championship tomorrow. There is work to be done. What
No
were some
doubt.
things that you saw tonight that this team still needs to work on going forward?
Well, you still have to work a lot on your timing. There's a lot of things there, and a lot of your efficiency battle, I think, needs to be worked on a little bit. But other than that, I mean, a few penalties. It's not so much we didn't have a whole lot of penalties, but it's what the penalties were.
Yeah, they were big ones.
Right. And just some little things like that. Try not to get on different levels defensively. But those are early game things. You see us creating different levels, and that just opens up running lanes, and you got to be careful with that. But, it's hard. I mean, it's hard. All she knows is we're going to continue to put our packages in. We're going to continually get better. But to work on, I tell you what, you can't. There's not a whole lot.
If that's the foundation we saw tonight, then there's a lot of good things that can come from that, and that was a strong and sturdy start to the year, which is about as much as you can ask for. Flashiness is fun, but when you have consistency like you did in that game, then that's a very good start right off the bat.
Yeah, finishing drives. There's all kinds of things. Your field position battle, you win it. The explosiveness battle, we win it. But I was just, we dictated it. But more importantly, the number one factor I have on my notes here is that I'm looking for in this game was communication. And I saw we did an excellent job with that.
The Tigers have won 4 straight season openers. They're 4-1 now playing football in the state of Texas in the last 10 years. 11 years now. And, it's always fun to come to Texas and win games, Spav, but it's a lot more fun beating your crosstown rivals. And the Tigers will have a chance to do that next week in the brand-new football stadium over at Union. It's still a road game, but it's not far from home, and we'll be looking forward to that one a week from tonight.
And it should be a good ball game because we're looking at, most of the people have voted Union to be the state champions.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's going to even be a little more crucial. But the bottom line with that game, even though it's a crosstown rival, whatever, I mean, it's a big rival, it's still just the second ball game of the year. I mean, it's one of those deals is we got to go out and do what we can do and do it well and keep competing, and we're keep getting better. So when we start district play, that's a new season. So there's really 3 seasons in a season because you have your first 3 games, your district, and then the playoffs.
We'll be looking forward to that one next week. We'll have that one for you right here on ArrowVision as well. Spav, it was good to be back with you. Looking forward to it
awesome,
again.
Man. I appreciate it.
We will talk to you next week, but for one final time tonight, the final score here in Mansfield, Texas, Broken Arrow 42, Mansfield Legacy 13. The Tigers start the year at 1-0, and the Broncos are 0-1. We'll talk to you next week from Tulsa. In the meantime, I'm Adam Hildebrandt. Oh, by the way, also, real quick before I let you go, big thanks to Madison Dildine, who was supposed to work sidelines for us tonight. Technical difficulties wouldn't let her join us, but we were looking forward to that. She will be on the broadcast over the course of the season. Keep an eye out for some of her segments, like that 100-yard segment. She's going to be involved more in that, so keep an eye out for her work more throughout the year.
And she's going to be amazing at what she does.
Yeah, absolutely. Big thanks to Skip running stats for us tonight, and Jeremy Bryan, our spotter, helping us keep our eyes on everything going on in the field. And then to Terry Sprider for the production of the broadcast as well. It's an operation here, and we appreciate everybody who helped put it on.
Absolutely.
All right, one more time. Broken Arrow 42, Legacy 13. Tigers are 1-0 on the year. From Mansfield, Texas, I'm Adam Hildebrandt saying good night and God bless.